Hello, everyone. Welcome to DCU Daily. Here we are. We are here back again on Thursday. Hopefully, we can have a proper double show today. Tearless Tuesday, more like Tearless Thursday, but we'll get into that soon enough. And my camera is very crooked. I do apologize for that. But with that, let's get into the show proper. Of course, we have now 2 days of news, so we have tons, and I mean tons for you guys today. We are going to be talking about box office weekend related things, so there's that. Then we're going to get into movie talk madness. Some things have been greenlit. We got some look-sees into a bit of future films that are coming out this year, as well as the reviews dropping for Mortal Kombat 2, what people are saying about it, and good, bad, well, we'll just have to see. Then we have a bit of MCU Weekly, and then a bit of TV Talk Terror. Some things been renewed, some things ending, getting into all that. And then we have our quick hits, of course, and then tons of DC news. After a very much lack of DC news today, the past couple of days, we are getting into so much DC news. We have DC quick hits. We have Supergirl, lots of new looks at our Maiden of Might, so we're going to be getting into that. Then a little bit of what did Gunn say. He was posting quite a bit in regards to Man of Tomorrow, Supergirl, anything in between. And then a bit of Man of Tomorrow news, our favorite lover, one of the many men who have gotten a renaissance in the past few years is back and is going to be reuniting with James Gunn once again, and he is going to be in Man of Tomorrow, so we're going to be talking about that. And then finally, probably the biggest news and my most favorite news of today in regards to Batman, is it the Matt Reeves movie? Fuck no, it ain't the Matt Reeves movie. Who the fuck gives a shit about that? Oh, you see the Batmobile in the snow. Who gives a flying fuck? The thing I care about is that the launch trailer came out today for Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, and we're going to be talking all about it. It's going to be fucking awesome. So let's get into the show proper and talk about everything in regards to news, to quick hits, to DCU Daily. Hell yeah.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
I gotta keep you guys on your toes. Gotta make sure. Oh, am I doing it? Am I not? Am I doing it? Oh, there we go. So, welcome to the news, guys. We are gonna get Dan in here shortly, hopefully. But for right now, you're stuck with little old me. So, here we are, getting into the news. Now, unfortunately, you probably already heard because it's a bit of old news, but we are going to still be talking about it because it's a very important thing to talk about. And that is in regards to, well, first the chat, because Monique is in the chat. Acres of Movies is in the chat. Emo Nerd Girl's in the chat. This gentleman who we haven't seen before is in the chat. And then Movie Spud, as well as Caleb. Hello. Welcome. So, welcome to the show. Let me, do something first before we get started properly. But welcome to the show. Showing off delicious things and non-delicious things, fan theories, and the such. But before we get into DC stuff, obviously we got to talk about media and the news and the day-old news in regards to Ted Turner, the man who changed the game in regards to broadcasting and the news and everything in between. The man who just changed the game in regards to a lot of aspects, whether you agreed or disagreed with who he was, his interests were, his politics, who knows. But whether you agree or disagree in regards to what the man thought of, um, he 100% changed the game. So, yeah, it's a very sad day. He lived a long, very long life, and I did, um, you know, it is a very very big loss. I remember like vaguely eating at one of his like steakhouses or something. But yeah, that was the first time I ever had a paper straw. I never had that before because he was very environmentally like friendly and that kind of thing. That's why he like did stuff like Captain Planet and stuff like that. Turner Classic Movies, all him, CNN, just a lot of stuff just was all because of him. And very sad to very sad to see. But again, it's kind of like a bittersweet note because he did live a very long life. um you know he died on Wednesday, according to his private holding company. He was 87. Ted was an intensely involved and committed leader, intrepid, fearless, and always willing to back a hunch and trust his own judgment. He was and always will be the presiding spirit of CNN. In his prime, Turner was one of the kings of broadcasting, a brash but savvy visionary. He turned the Turner Broadcasting System into a behemoth, establishing the superstation concept and launching channels such as TBS, TNT, Cartoon Network, and Turner Classic Movies. He transformed culture and politics with cable news network, the first 24-hour news channel in the country. CNN helped to fundamentally change the format and speed of TV news, laying the path for competitors such as Fox News and MSNBC, now known as MS Now. So, yeah, it's definitely that's what it was. Ted's Montana Grill. That was one of the few things I like at the time knew of Ted Turner. That and like it was like Captain Planet, but obviously I was a kid at the time, so I didn't realize how far his reach spread. It's like the guy, we have so much to thank in regards to what he did. Whether they're good now is, that's let's not talk about that. But what he established is definitely something grand, and again, changed the game for you know, um, what he did for the news. So Ted Turner created the 24-hour news cycle, keeping the world more informed and more stressed. Yeah, definitely more stressed, Ted. You definitely gave us that. While most people view the media at large as elite and out of touch, the mogul actually moved the nexus of news away from New York and into the American heartland. So it was because of this that it wasn't just like the big spots. It was like trying to talk all about different places, like all encompassing America. So there was that, and CNN being the first of its kind. Um, but yeah, Rupert Murdoch said Wednesday Ted Turner's vision for 24-hour cable news transformed the media industry and gave viewers everywhere a front seat to witness history unfold. To be clear, that legacy is more nuanced now as the floodgates of news opened and evolved into a flood of takes and opinions. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by everything that is happening in the world and to want to turn it off at times. The 24 hours news cycle that Turner created is still with us, and it sometimes can be too much, especially when the news is coming at us in real time and at breakneck speed, especially in the world of the internet. Um, so, it's definitely, again, just going off of what he did for better or for worse in regards to the 24-hour news cycle. Um, but yeah. Um, yeah, very interesting, yeah. But then of course, maybe a surprise, but David Zaslav, um our favorite WB chairman, said Ted Turner was a visionary and trailblazer, which he definitely was. Again, as the previous article stated, there is more nuance with that right now, but it's still an important thing to talk about the good and the bad of what he created at the time. Um, but um, but yeah, he he called him a foundational force behind many of the brands central to the company today, including CNN, obviously. Ted's entrepreneurial spirit, creative ambition, and willingness to take risks changed the media industry forever. He believed deeply in the power of ideas and doing things differently and in building platforms that could inform, inspire, and connect people around the world. That belief inspired generations of leaders, myself included. He did not just disrupt media, he transformed it. CNN fundamentally changed how the world experiences history in real time, and its impact on journalism continues to be felt every day through the work of our teams. So, obviously we're not going to get into the merger stuff, but, because that's not really the important thing right now. We're kind of just celebrating Ted Turner and what he did. And then finally, we do have a bit of other people talking. Jane Fonda, Rupert Murdoch, Brian Roberts, and even more laud CNN founder Ted Turner, a great American and friend. Um, he swept into my life, a gloriously handsome, deeply romantic, swashbuckling pirate, and I've never been the same. He needed me. No one had ever, and this is from Jane Fonda, by the way. No one had ever let me know they needed me, and this wasn't your average human being that needed me. This was the creator of CNN and Turner Classic Movies, who had won the America's Cup as the world's greatest sailor. He had a big life, a brilliant mind, and a soaring sense of humor. Um, you know, she said a lot. Murdoch and Ted Turner were business rivals, and their Fox News and CNN news networks remained fierce competitors. But Murdoch and Turner, after many years of public and bitter feud, eventually became friends. In a statement following news about Turner's death, Murdoch gave credit to Turner for having the vision to launch CNN in 1980. Ted Turner's vision for 24-hour cable news transformed the media industry and gave viewers everywhere a front seat to witness history unfold. Murdoch said in a statement, his impact as a trailblazer has left an indelible mark on our cultural landscape. He was a great American and friend. So this also touches upon what David Zaslav said. Brian Roberts, Ted changed the lives of so many people around the world. CNN CEO Mark Thompson said he was an incredible visionary and a unique figure. We lost one of our giants, Mark Lazarus, CEO of Versant Media, who just, had I believe, not a merger, but a separation, because Versant is now the TV side of, NBC Universal. Because, it's MS Now instead of MSNBC. Said that the late cable pioneer Ted Turner was one of the rare leaders who truly changed the trajectory of an industry. So, a lot of people in that side lauding what, Ted Turner created for, again, for better or for worse, because, um, but yeah, yeah, it's sad to see, but again, it's as somebody said, he lived a good long life, so that's all that matters. And even though it's kind of become a little butchered, that's it's okay. We'll it's okay. So that's it for the sadder part of the news today. Obviously, now we're going to get into box office stuff. We are going to be talking about a little bit in regards to what's coming out soon. And the biggest thing, obviously, this weekend is indeed Mortal Kombat 2. It is apparently going to karate chop near 80 million worldwide opening, but the world belongs to the devil. Box office preview. So it seems like even though Mortal Kombat will seem to do very well this weekend, Devil Wears Prada 2 is definitely going to be the reigning champion. So, with this, Mortal Kombat 2 with around 50 million and the Devil Wears Prada 2's estimated second weekend in the low 40 millions will alone beat the entire marketplace result from a year ago. Then there's the third week. We have Michael. We have the Sheep Detectives, which is much smaller, but we do have a lot going on with this weekend. So it's a good weekend, and that'll lead into our last bit in regards to the box office. But yeah, there is definitely a lot going on here, because the last movie came out, which was 5 years ago at this point, was when COVID was still very much a prominent figure idea in the realm of movies, because it was the case of being released in theaters and on HBO Max, specifically in this case, at the same time, so people could see it at home, because you couldn't really go to the movies that much. So Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna make a lot of money. Definitely gonna make a lot of money. Um, but I have not seen the '90s movie. It's kind of on my list, but it's not like prominent, so I'm not gonna like, oh my god, I gotta go watch that. But I have never played Mortal Kombat. I have played the original Street Fighter, well, the original Street Fighter 2, I should say, and it's a ton of fun. I like that game, so I'm a little bit more aware of that. But I'm very lost. I mean, I was not a '90s kid. I was technically born in the '90s, but I was not a '90s kid, so I don't really know a lot about Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter outside of what little lore I've gotten from like people talking about it. So I haven't really, um, you know, there's that. So yeah, but Mortal Kombat and 2, not just Mortal Kombat 2, but like Devil Wears Prada, Michael, the fucking trifecta of money makers this next upcoming weekend. So that's definitely something. So but in the coming weeks, more so at the tail end of May, we do have one of the many horror movies that are coming out this month. That is The Back Rooms. Apparently, The Back Rooms hits tracking as a summer surprise, and this is an early look for the box office in regards to this film. But there's nothing better than the positive, unexpected at the summer box office, and that'll might be the case in regards to the Back Rooms, which is coming out for the Memorial Day weekend on May 29th, and it looks like it might do around $20 million. The movie, which literally just finished post-production, I mean, uh Kane something, the director, just posted an image of that. He just got done with post-production for the film. Should those projections hold, that's a great result for a movie that costs under $10 million, and one which is opening in the wake of, Star Wars's glorious return to the big screen. So, and without any IMAX screens, so that's definitely something. But yeah, it's definitely a big surprise because it's a bigger. This is the next big like um YouTuber movie after Iron Lung, and then at this point, Obsession, which is going to be coming out, I believe, next week or the week after. So we've had, three YouTuber movies. I think a fourth, because I think, well, I know, well, Iron Lung is the first, based on a video game by Markiplier, and then Exit 8, I don't know if that was made by a YouTuber, but I know it's based on a video game. And then Obsession is Curry Barker, and then we're gonna have this from Kane Pixels is the username. Like Kane something. I forget his last. I keep thinking Kane Hodder, and I'm like, no, that's Jason Voorhees. But yeah, it definitely looks really good for the Back Room. So that's definitely really exciting, especially for smaller movies. Undertone is another one where it was made for like pennies, but managed to get $20 million over the course of its box office run, making 20 times its budget, more than that. But yeah, and then finally, I referenced this a little bit when we talk about Mortal Kombat. Is the U.S. box office aims for The Sun with 4 billion, but is fewer studio films the way to go, and that's the season preview. Now, with in regards to this, it's yeah, I did talk about this. I forget, like maybe a week or two ago, in regards to how the box office is doing. Dan, I think, came in at the tail end of that, and how this is going to go in regards to the summer. Because while there is not quite as many big movies coming out, they're still big enough. You have a Sir Nolan movie, you have Spider Man, you have the glorious return of Nolan, Spielberg, Spider Man. It's gonna be a big, and then you have a DC movie. You have another Toy Story movie that is Toy Story 5, and then you have God knows how many others that are coming out. But it's just like these are big money makers, like Toy Story 5. The last two Toy Story movies made $1 billion. So you are gonna have that, and then you have Spielberg, which is still like one of the few directors. Something okay. One of the few directors that people actually know by name. Same with Nolan, and then Spider Man is the biggest superhero of all time. So um, yeah, Oh, that's cool. Let us know your thoughts because Everything Ever All at Once, damn great movie, Oscar winner. So yeah, I can't wait for Backrooms. It looks so good. I'm more excited for Obsession, but Backrooms looks really good. So it definitely seems like, in regards to all of this, that we are going to be getting a bigger and better year. Because even something like Devil Wears Prada 2 is making buku money. So, so already following the successful opening of Devil Wears Prada 2, there's an excitement in the air that this summer finally could deliver another 4 billion plus season post COVID. Also, hi Decol. Thanks to Prada 2's almost $80 million opening, and Michael's still holding strong, and you still have Project Hail Mary and Super Mario Galaxy, a lot of big movies, and then, as I said, Mortal Kombat 2. This is the second best start of summer since COVID, with all films totaling, 173.1. Um, but the best summer kickoff post COVID remains 2022 because, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, as well as you also have the Batman coming out earlier. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that we're actually going to get a 4 billion plus year, or are we going to get even better with that, with how many movies are coming out this year, big money makers that are coming out? So yeah, it's definitely really, really, really exciting. Um, but yeah. So this, and then you also have, and then not just summer. You have movies that are coming out later, like, with Avengers Doomsday and Doom Part 3. So yeah, um, yeah, I would say so. Definitely great film. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, but I think it's a very, very well done movie. I think it's very, very well done. Of course, the boomers in my family hate it, but I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Um, because, but going back to this, it definitely seems like we're getting that next big summer, and hopefully we're going to be getting another big year for movies, because you could say a lot of things in regards to the whole industry, how problematic it is, and how bad it is, and all that. But you know any win for movies is a win for theaters, and a win for, hopefully, the continuing nature of this movie industry that we love. So even though it's problematic, it's flawed, but with how we are, hopefully we're going to get a big, big summer, and then with that, the rest of the year is also as big as that summer. So we are technically in the summer season, because usually it starts in May, ends in August, September. So yeah, hopefully we get something truly phenomenal this year, because with how many big, big, and then obviously I forgot, Mandalorian and Grogu, even though it's set for a lower opening, um it's still a big movie. It's still Star Wars. So we'll see. But yeah, but that is it for the box office side of things. Let me lower this so I don't look as weird. Um, but now we move on to movie talk madness. So we all go a little mad sometimes. But the first bit of news was definitely a surprising one for me personally. If Dan were here, maybe he would have an insight of, box office and, Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, and, critical response. But apparently, Hocus Pocus 3 is in the works, with Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy all coming back, which is definitely a surprise, because it seemed like Hocus Pocus 2 was just kind of a, all right, let's like do this because everyone's doing nostalgia bait, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, Bette Midler doesn't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. I mean, she could have fun, do whatever the fuck she wants. But like, from what I heard, Hocus Pocus 3 like didn't really do that. It was, I think, straight to streaming, wasn't it? And then the critical response and the audience response was not very good. Even the fans of the movie were like, "Yeah, this is kind of dog shit." So I don't know. But yeah, I think it was when yeah, it was released on Disney Plus, and The response was pretty much mixed to negative, but I guess it was enough um for people to eventually greenlight this, even though this came out fucking 4 years ago at this point, and this is probably not going to come out until like 2028 if I were to take a guess. So yeah, yeah, I guess so, but I guess there was enough interest that all right, let's do a third one. Um, yeah, I remember watching it and being very confused, like what the fuck is this? I don't really remember it all that much. But hey, if people are enjoying it and people like it, then sure, I guess. Cool. And then the movie news that, you know, uh, guys, this is why we can't have nice things. We can't have nice things ever. So we're getting a new Planet of the Apes movie, and guess what? It's not gonna be a sequel to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's gonna be a whole nother story, and we have Matt Jackman directing it. You're really gonna get the guy who did Fantastic Four mid steps to fucking do a Planet of the Apes movie? Like, literally, this reboot franchise has delivered nothing but amazing movies. First one, great. Dawn, even better. War, even better than that. Kingdom, probably the weakest of the four, but still very good. Very well done. Also, the Tim Burton one came out in 2001, not 2002. But oh my god. Like, the fact that Wes Ball managed to do that much with like so little, because like it had been a while since War, and Wes Ball isn't exactly like a noteworthy director. I mean, the most he's done is those Maze Runner movies. So it's like it didn't have a lot going for it, but the fact what he did, what he managed to achieve, and then Kevin Durant's performance. Yeah, sorry guys, my glasses keep getting dirty. But like Kevin Durant's performance, oh my god. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. One of the best villain performances I've seen in a while. But I mean, to be fair, most people do. Most people don't really love the War as much as Rise and Dawn, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Woody Harrelson gave another excellent performance. So, um, yeah. Hopefully, it's not going to be as bad. But I mean, I would say like the first one back in 1968 was amazing. I liked Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I know not a lot of people do. I remember liking it as a kid. The third movie was kind of dumb and silly. It was like, oh, monkeys in the fucking present USA. Isn't that funny? So nothing all that great. Um, and then the Conquest sucked. Battle of the Planet of the Apes was not great, but it had Conquest and Battle had fun finales, but were kind of like once we got to Battle of the Planet of the Apes, it was definitely kind of running its course. I mean, the first movie was amazing. All the sequels don't live up to it. Um, you know, I just I could see that. Um, yeah, I think but yeah, I'm not I don't even know if I'm going to watch this. I was not impressed with Matt Shackman's first feature film with a Fantastic Four mid steps. I just felt it dropped the ball on so many aspects of the Fantastic Four and the story. It was very poorly edited, very poorly paced. Like half the characters didn't feel like their characters. It was just like, and then having Galactus like be the immediate threat made no sense, especially when they don't live up to the idea that Galactus should have swallowed this world. That's what should have happened, and then they escape to the main like MCU world. That would have made fucking sense to have Galactus be that threat to show the terror of Galactus, and then you do nothing. You got Ralph Innocent and you wasted him. Go fuck yourself for that one. but well, this isn't a remake. It's just it takes place in the world. It's just not a specific sequel to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Um, yeah, it just hopefully that can be the case here. It's just I don't trust it. I again, he's only done one movie. Maybe he can do better stuff in the future, but Matt Jackman definitely feels like a TV director that got a big budget. That's essentially what it was with Thor: The Dark World, where it was kind of passable, but you can tell that a TV director directed this. It was like so mid. Um yeah, here's the thing. The only reason I can see this kind of like working for now and they'll still have a sequel for Kingdom is because of one reason and one reason only, and that's Wes Ball is currently working on Legend of Zelda, and Legend of Zelda has been a passion project for him for a while. So I have a feeling that like, okay, Disney wants a moneymaker, and they're like, hey, Wes Ball, let's get our sequel for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. He's like, sorry, I'm busy with Legend of Zelda right now. And they're like, okay, let's get another director, let's do a side story, and let's do that for the time being. And then when you're all done with your Legend of Zelda movie, then you can come back and do Planet of the Apes. That's my hope, and not just, oh yeah, fuck whatever West Ball had planned, we're doing this now. I'm more so willing to believe the latter because it's Disney. Yes, it's under 20th Century Studios, but that's, under Disney, and I don't really trust Disney. So, I mean, that could definitely be the case. Because they did tease that in the first. I didn't notice that until years later when I went to go see War. You could actually see. Hang on, let me get it. You could see my poster when I went to go see the triple feature of when War for the Planet of the Apes was coming out. There was a triple feature where Rise, Dawn, and War were being seen back to back to back, and the reason I got so excited about that was because my dad did the same exact thing back in like the 80s when all 5 movies were released in a theater. So I got so excited. I'm like, Dad, they're doing it again, but with the new movies. So we went to go see it. So we saw Rise, we saw Dawn, and then we saw War, which just got released. So I'm willing to believe. Also, hi Dan. I'm willing.
Everybody.
My hope, my very, very cardinal hope, is that 20th Century Studios really wanted to do another Wes Ball directed Planet of the Apes movie, but he's doing Legend of Zelda now. So they're like, okay, all right, let's just shit out a movie to shit out a movie. All right, let's get this shitty director, get some shitty writer, and just shit out a side story and just do this so we can just have a Planet of the Apes movie that'll make money. Cool, great. Wes Ball, you do your passion project. We'll shit out a crappy Planet of the Apes movie. Boom, there we go. We'll make our money back, and it'll be fine. And then when Wes Ball is done with his passion project for Legend of Zelda, then he can come back in and do Planet of the Apes, because this is most likely gonna be garbage. But that's par for the course because Matt Jackman is not a great director. But that's okay. Anyway,
I don't know. I feel like Matt Jackman could do a good job. I don't know. I would just. I thought this was good news. I mean, I'd like to see more of these movies. I mean, and this would be what. Like,
I would, but I want to see a sequel to Kingdom. That was like they promised us a trilogy by Wes Ball, and we're not getting that. And it's just like, oh, come on. So my hope is like, he's busy with Legend of Zelda right now, and they'll bring him back eventually once he's done with that. That's my hope, at least. But it's like at the same time, why not just fucking wait? Why didn't you do this side story? So I don't know, but
wait. So I wasn't actually aware. This is not continuing that story. Like
it's not gonna be a sequel to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's gonna be its like own thing, which is dumb. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I honestly didn't think that's what we were looking at. But okay. So yeah. I mean, look, I'm still looking. Look, here's the thing. It's another Planet of the Apes movie. Like, isn't this? So I was gonna say this makes it the fourth director in the franchise, because we had the guy direct the OG one, that when with James Franco and everybody, and then Matt Reeves came in for the next 2, and then we had Wes Ball. So yeah. I mean, the most impressive thing about these is usually the animation, the CGI. It's kind of like Avatar in that way. So.
But they're all way better movies because they're, you know, about something and not just like, hey, white people are bad, the movie.
We haven't gone
hey,
through that
did you
whole
know
Avatar.
military stuff is bad? Hey, did you know that not being environmentally friendly is bad? Yes, James, we know. Even though you like stole an actor's face to make that dream come true, but you know, we're not getting into that today. That'll be for tomorrow. But yeah, so not exactly excited for this, but hey, we'll be fine. Anyway, you know what we can get excited about, Dan? Masters of the Universe, because they did release some stills in regards to some of the side characters for Masters of the Universe, including Trapjaw, Fisto, and Ram Man. Definitely some baller names for these characters. But we did get a little bit of this. But yeah, looking mighty fine here. Just beautiful. Honestly, he kind of looks like Ganondorf a little bit. Not gonna lie.
You know, like, okay, I will say this: some of these photos, like in the past, I mean, you see this with obviously superhero movies. You see stuff like this where you see these characters, like when you get them on photograph, they look a little wonky because it's like, you know, it's still, it doesn't look the same way that it's gonna be colored and graded, and like when it's in motion. I think this is a great basis for what it's gonna feel. It's gonna look great on the on camera in the movie itself. Like in still, sometimes it undersells a little bit, but when you see it in action, you see it with like how they treat it with the VFX and everything else added in. You know, that adds to the believability. So yeah, I mean, like Monique is saying, like, you know, they nailed the aesthetic. I think they absolutely did. So it's just, I appreciate it because I think that was the thing that you were like really worried about at the very beginning, was the idea that, hey, is this movie going to lean into the source material, or are they going to try to like be very like, oh, you know, we're
I mean, I'm still not a huge fan of some of the decisions they're making, but like I'm willing to, and like I'm not happy with like, oh, one of the test screenings said it was a lot like Thor Ragnarok, which has me iffy, but for the most part, I'm not, I don't have huge expectations of it. It's just what's so funny is my friend who like is very cynical in regards to most IPs and franchises nowadays. He's like going ape shit over this movie because he grew up with He-Man and Masters of the Universe. So like he's like all happy. He's like I can send him anything and he's like woo. Or if I send him anything negative, he's like I don't give a fuck. I'm excited for this movie. Go fuck yourself. So you know it's. So it's just funny to see like one of the most cynical dudes I know be like acting like a child again, just seeing all his like favorite silly action figures come to life. So that's all I'm excited for, is like I'm glad he's happy, and I'm glad all the people who grew up with He-Man are hopefully going to be happy with this, rather than, you know, what happened with the Dolph Lundgren movie. Let's not talk about
that. Yeah. Well, no, I agree with you on all those points. I think this is it's good vibes, if nothing else, and you know what, we'll live with that for now. If that's all we have to work with for a while. Good vibes is a good place to be for a movie. Again, like you said, they've tried it before and not quite executed in the past, so I'll be glad to see this actually kind of, you know, work out.
Speaking of trying things before and not executing it well, Mortal Kombat 2, apparently the first reviews have arrived for the upcoming sequel, and apparently it's an upgrade. Still doesn't go as far as it should, but it still seems to be a very solid sequel according to this specific Rotten Tomatoes review. So
I like the sound of this. Did you? Okay, so if you want to read us a few of the reactions, because I thought overall it could be a lot worse, and we'll look at the score itself in a moment.
I mean, we have like the Mortal Kombat like 55 and 85.
But, no, but the sequel, actually, if you look to the right of it, this one has a score of 69%.
Yeah, this will you hear. Let's see.
You know, that's the magical number right there. Like, it was sitting at 76, but 69%.
It's 69. Let's see if it's changed.
You know?
It's still at 69.
Right now.
And now we have an audience score, which is 89, which is even higher than the first one. So, 69.
I mean, look,
I didn't want to make the joke yet because I had a feeling that it would change. And then I'm like, no, it stayed 69.
69, dude. It's here's the thing. I like 76 would have been great.
And look at the sheep I'm actually excited for the sheep detectives. Yeah, that looks really fun.
Come on. Like 69 might be a bit of a downgrade from 76, but 69 is still.
Hey, it's not a downgrade from the first movie because look, The critic score was
It's an
55,
upgrade.
yet the audience score was
14%.
85.
We're way, above.
Hey, we're not rotten, so we're that's good. So.
Yeah. Anyway, what are the people saying? What are the critics saying? Because the audience seem to love it. 89%.
So a lot of people are saying it manages to fix most of its predecessor shortcomings. It's another project that isn't without its flaws, but thankfully it becomes a far more enthralling venture than its predecessors. It's rare to see a sequel that is as much of an apology for its predecessor than Mortal Kombat 2. Damn. Okay, fucking mic drop right there. Shit, but I mean, I've heard nothing but bad things about the first one, so that's why I'm not even gonna bother watching it. Because it's like, what the fuck do I need to know? Because the thing is, everyone was like, "Oh, it's literally not about the tournament." So like, what's the point? It's like, I want to see the tournament. Because I believe what Simon McQuoid, I don't know how you pronounce that, said that the trilogy he envisioned, I don't know if this is going to be the same from the beginning. He said he wanted the trilogy of Mortal Kombat movies to be, the first one was going to be before the tournament, the second one was going to be the tournament, and then the third one was going to be after the tournament. And it's like, what the fuck is there to tell after the tournament? Like, even Cobra Kai for season 6, that was the original plan, and then they're like, oh wait, we can't tell anything after the tournament because it's after the tournament. Who gives a fuck? Let's just continue the tournament through bullshit means and then end it properly. So
yeah, no, it sounds, good in theory, but it's, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and let's hope Cole Young fucking dies because he's the character everyone fucking hates. So
IGN review, too many fatalities, 7 out of 10.
That
sounds accurate, M2G's looking forward to seeing it.
Does it do a good job adapting the game? Mortal Kombat 2 stands victorious as the first adaptation to get all the proportions right. If you love playing the games, chances are you will love watching the movie. More importantly, McQuoid truly captures the transcendental scope of the games. The sequel has two tones. It whiplashes between "isn't this all so ridiculous?" wisecracks and excessively bloody violence. That, I suppose, marks this as a faithful Mortal Kombat adaptation. How does it compare to other video game adaptations? Unlike some other video game adaptations, the movie cares enough about its audience to actually tell a story with conflict and stakes. Kids got the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Older kids / adults get this. Same brand of nonstop fan service, but at least this one remembers to include an actual plot while delivering the bloody. Fucking Mario Galaxy had a plot. It was just getting point A to point B. It was praised for Mad Max Fury Road, but apparently Mario Galaxy is where that fucking ends. Anyway, it's the latest in the line of recent video game films to place fan appeasement first and being a good movie 20th. Ouch. All right. What else will it remind us of? The setting of Underrealm, a tiered inferno, allows the movie late in the game to establish the monosyllabic version of a Star Wars vibe, yet it's only a vibe. What the fuck does that... Stop trying to sound pretentious and smart, Owen. You're not. You're a fucking loser who's a movie critic. Get the fuck out of here. The scenes meant to be played more for comedy feel right out of a 1980s fantasy adventure with just the right amount of tongue-in-cheek playfulness. The new sequel will likely remind you of other pop culture artifacts that preceded it, including Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Ooh, that's not good. Annihilation, but it's coming from Roger Ebert. Ever since he died, that fucking website's in the shitter. Is it only for diehard fans of the franchise? Mortal Kombat 2 knows exactly what fans want this time around. It's a sequel that works not necessarily because listening to criticism from fans is an infallible strategy, but because it harkens back to the source material and the over-the-top spectacle of the films that inspired it in the first place. So, yeah. Fight sequences, top-tier choreography, knows its audience's primary concern is the fighting tournament itself, which we actually get to see this time. Are the stakes high enough? This time the stakes feel clear. All the floating combat metaphysics ends up blanding out the stakes, or maybe just the rules. For a franchise based on the idea that dying is bad and should be avoided, Mortal Kombat 2 kind of whiffs it. How are the visuals? Every location has its own color coding, as does every character superpower, which also helps keep events easy to flow. Does it have a better script this time? Jeremy Slater's screenplay is smart, dumb enough to know its audience. If you're hoping for a story much better than the first, you do get that, but it's still not entirely good. The narrative is delivered with such confidence in the audience's prior knowledge that it can feel as though key exposition has been left out. Is it funny? The pop culture references are the worst part of the humor. How is Carl Urban? Excellent sense of this character. Pretty much all the other funny moments can be attributed to Josh Lawson as Kano, which makes sense. Thankfully, just as he did in the first movie, Kano is on hand to constantly entertainingly remind us how ridiculous all this is. Lawson's presence proves essential to making the film accessible. The new cast members provide more effective humor and screen presence. So, yeah, a lot of other stuff, but it's definitely seems like a good time.
Look, if you look at the popcorn meter, if you go back to the Rotten Tomatoes score, 69% is higher than most people would expect, and if it stays in the 60s, then that's positive, like that's a passing score, and then the audiences love it enough to give it like overall the 89% averages. That's a high average. That's like anything over 85% with the odd tomato meter, not the tomato meter, the popcorn meter is generally like, okay, the audiences really like this movie. So, and the first one, look, you haven't seen it, but I will say this: the first movie has great action, great visuals. The story really is lacking, and the biggest thing that I found kind of confusing was the movie kind of jumps from like the middle of the second act to like the third act, and it feels like it skipped a bunch of steps. So it felt like a little jarring, the pacing of the movie. Like they spent a lot of time setting up a few things, and then all of a sudden we're like in the fight, and I'm like, okay, wait, like it doesn't really follow the and I'm not saying every movie needs to follow the traditional Hollywood 3-act structure. I would appreciate it following it to a point where it doesn't take you out of the movie, because I was like a little lost. I'm like, wait, it feels like we skipped a few things. Not to mention then some of the third act fights, despite the visuals being great, I don't like it. Just like some of the better fights took place in the early half of the film. So anyway, it's not a bad movie. It's a perfectly fine movie. It got released on HBO Max the same day as because it was a pandemic. So
yeah, I did mention that when we were talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but the sequel, I think, hopefully will stand on some firmer ground in terms of just what it will do at the box office, and then if it makes enough money, which I think the predictions are pretty good right now, I think you mentioned earlier in the show, hopefully that will mean they'll keep doing more of these, because I mean they'll have Street Fighter under the same house with, I mean I guess sister studio Paramount will have Street Fighter through Legendary, so all that being said,
but not everyone's happy, because apparently the producer was blasting critics for negative reviews, even though it has a high Rotten Tomatoes score. So Todd Garner, it was originally at 73 at the time of this article, but now it's at 69%. Garner wrote, "Some of these reviews are cracking me up. It's clear they have never played the game and have no idea what the fans want or any of the rules / canon of Mortal Kombat. One reviewer is mad that a guy had a laser eye. Why the frick do we still allow people that don't have any love for the genre to review these movies? Baffling." So, and ironically, okay, I didn't know this. Apparently, Mortal Kombat 2 is releasing in China with no cuts. This is a first. This is why it's trending internationally rather than just focusing on domestic. So that's okay. Definitely very interesting.
That's a big deal. That could really work in its favor. I like that. Okay. Wow. I mean, look, here's the thing. To be honest, it's kind of fun to see the filmmaker sort of say the quiet thing out loud. It's one of those things, like, this sounds like one of those things when like a player says something about the referees after the games. Like, not in all instances, because sometimes players say dumb things. Hashtag Jalen Brown. But like sometimes players just say something where like, I want to say the quiet thing out loud. I know I'm gonna get fined by the league for it, but I'm gonna say it out loud anyway. And like, this is one of those things where, yes, it is true we've talked about it in the past. There's many a times, especially with genre movies. Sometimes it's like the critic clearly like wasn't the right fit for the material. And I'm not saying that certain critics should only watch certain kinds of movies. It's just reviews are just as subjective as the movies themselves. So if you're trying to judge a movie based on somebody's review, it's usually better to go off of somebody whose sensibilities are in line with yours. So that's why I think it's almost like, I wish Rotten Tomatoes had this thing where like a critic's profile, like where they had like these means to like somehow qualitative or quantitative measurements of like this critic's, or maybe that critic like, had their bio page and like, I grew up loving Power Rangers and I watched all the Marvel movies and, I also love Stanley Kubrick and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know if, I think Letterboxd does something to that end, or is meant to sort of provide that more so. Because then people can look at a review and be like, oh, random dude, but like this dude also loves these kind of things. Therefore, like, okay, I get it. So what I always recommend is if you're gonna follow critics' reviews for anything, try to like find a few critics that you can relate to, that that sort of tend
Yeah,
to
like find people that
lean
have
in
your
your
interests
direction.
at heart, like
Yeah,
either friends or someone like Jeremy Johns is usually
mm-hmm,
good in terms of like fans, or he's
exactly.
a good critic, but you know, all
I mean,
that
it's not
stuff.
always possible, but I'm just saying like that tends to be a, if you're trying to get a better estimate of like, okay, so how am I gonna feel about this, and so that's something where you'll have a better time of that if you were to kind of, yeah, go just find a few critics that you can connect with, who are similar to you in terms of what they like, and then you'll be able to trust their opinions more. And then, because I think it's also kind of problematic when we were like, oh my god, all critics suck, because critics see more movies than we do. Like, you develop a keener sense of like smell, as it were, for like how this stuff is made and like what's good and what's not good. So I don't like to discount the idea that critics, don't know what they're talking, like, critics know what they're talking about because they see enough movies to like we respect Liz's opinion because she sees enough of these movies to know a thing or two about them. But at the same
We know a
time,
thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
exactly, but
We
at the
are
same time,
critics. Bump, 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 bump.
and yeah, so you just gotta find the critics that you can connect with. So anyway, I can't follow up that anything else. So.
Anyway, now we move on to
Yeah.
MCU Weekly with ya boy
Mm.
Hugh. Kind of just playing the dumbass in this case. He had this to say in regards to rumors that he's coming back for Avengers Doomsday. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What is it? Doom's what? Who knows? And fucking box off. Honestly, best response.
Huge? You mean huge jacked man? Yeah,
Huge
totally.
Jackman. Oh,
Yeah.
Nelson saw MK2, said gave it an 8 out of 10. My friend just saw Mortal Kombat 2. He said it was really good. He's like, he said it was
Nice.
flawed, but a fun time, way better than the first. So there's that.
Okay. All right, man. That's awesome, Nelson. Nelson found me. Hey, Nelson, you found me on LinkedIn this week, actually. um, don't go looking everywhere. Well, you guys can go looking if you want. But anyway, uh, yeah, Georgie. That was Georgie. She's trying to hop on things now. I'm sure you'll see her in the background. But yeah, no. If you guys saw the movie, if you guys saw Mortal Kombat 2, drop your reaction in the comments. We'll try to bring those in. I mean, John, Hugh Jackman at this point, I don't think he's just in his like I don't give a like IDGAF era. So he's just having fun as long as they let him have fun. And clearly, Marvel's too shy to go looking for a new Wolverine actor. So yeah.
You know who
False
else
victory.
really doesn't give a fuck? Elodie Young, but we'll see what happens in regards to
Yeah.
that. So a lot of people are talking about if with Luke Cage coming back, with Iron Fist coming back, with Jessica Jones like actually in the show, and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So is Elodie Young as Electric Nachos coming back? So
What? I'm sorry. What?
that I remember
Electro
somebody
what?
was doing a review of, I think, the Ben Affleck Daredevil, and they're like my name, and she was like, my name is Electra Nachos, and they're like, wait, your name is Electric Nachos? What kind of fucking name is that? That's so stupid. And then they call her Electric Nachos for the rest of the review. But
Gotcha. Okay.
essentially giving essentially a lot of like very vague stuff that like, oh, it can happen, it can maybe happen, but Elodie Young is in New York, so we'll see. But hey, she could just be vacationing. You don't know. You don't know.
No, I mean it's also like we thought that Mike Coulter was there for just vacationing time, but turns out he was doing other things. So I mean it's all possible at this point, considering how much we have seen so far in just the behind the scenes images. So uh I mean, not to mention Mike Coulter basically gave away the finale of the show before it ever aired. So with one of the photos that, I mean, look, the internet will always remember Mike. Like, just remember that. Like, you could try to get away, like, he thought he got away with it. No, you did not. So but, yeah, no, it's all good. Would you like to see her back? Like, would you like to see Elektra, like Elodie Young's Elektra? I think that would be like, to complete the the family of defenders, as it were. So she would have been a great Wonder Woman. She might still be a great Wonder Woman. You never know, because apparently Adria Arjona is not playing Wonder Woman. She is going to be playing Maxima. Although not confirmed, but seems to be the consensus at the moment. Anyway, John, I'm just going off on a tangent now. I mean, I guess
Yes.
you are a bigger fan of the show than I am, so do you care to see her back at all?
I thought she was fine. She was in the weakest season of the show, and I thought she did like a relatively okay job. Like, like fine, not great, not bad. She was just fine. Like, I just, the thing is, I don't really know a lot about Elektra in the comics. I care more about Daredevil. I don't really give a fuck about Elektra all that much. She's like perfectly fine like again, like I'm kind of just indifferent about her character. I'm indifferent about this adaptation of this character, so I'm just kind of like, whatever. She's perfectly fine. She did a good job with what she was given, but I didn't really care for her character all that much, so yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm good with that. I don't like I said, it would make sense considering everybody else that's come back. So other than that, I mean, we'll see whether it's actually happening or not. We'll just have to wait and find out, I guess. It's gonna be a while before we know for sure, unless set photos tomorrow give us a hint, and then we'll know.
Right.
So we'll just wait.
But in regards to a good segue, we have the Russo brothers being fucking stupid. Because literally everyone is up in arms about this. It's like, wow, the people in the MCU really hate Uncle Ben for some fucking reason, and we don't know why. It's like, apparently, after we saw Uncle Ben die twice, now there's apparently this seething hatred for this character, even though he's the reason why the character becomes the character. So apparently the Russo brothers stated that Peter wasn't responsible for Uncle Ben's death. Say that again, but slower. The guy whose catchphrase is "with great power comes great responsibility" wasn't responsible for the thing he was responsible for, so that he becomes a superhero. Why do people praise these fuckers? I really don't fucking get it. Why do people praise the Russo brothers? They just look like turds in human form, and just like, why? Oh, they fucking brought together people and fought Thanos. It's like, okay, that's like the bare minimum, but sure. Like, God, I fucking hate these guys so fucking much.
I mean, look, I understand where you're coming from. I was just gonna say, it feels like, because obviously in the MCU they've gone in a different direction. Like, May is the one who gave that line to Peter, right? It's like it's so we were all, I guess, this, not that this needed to be said out loud, because they could completely never address the whole Uncle Ben elephant in the room, because I don't think need to. There's just never gonna be an Uncle Ben in this version of Peter's story. But
I mean, he exists, just
like, and we don't need to, like, it's that thing of until they explore that, because it would have to be completely a flashback. As far as we know, he wasn't in the picture, or was Aunt May even like married? Like, I don't know. It's just like one of those things where you didn't need to pull on this thread, but I guess they got asked about it, and then so as far as like canon goes, I'm not saying the Russo. I'm just saying the Russo brothers don't really. Like, I wouldn't go off of what they said as like hardcore canon for the MCU. It's just that was their approach with the actor, because they felt like this Spider-Man, like, I kind of understand, because that version of Peter Parker, like, especially when you compare it to like just a few years before that Amazing Spider-Man 2, and you got there Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, who literally saw Gwen Stacy die. Before that, Gwen Stacy's father died. Before that, Uncle Ben died, and the dude is just losing people left and right.
He's like Ed Baldwin in For All Mankind.
Yeah, I mean, and that's still an open wound. But anyway, like, the point is, like, it just, that Peter, you could feel like Andrew Garfield's Peter, like he was carrying the weight, like, and he did a great job of acting, the part. clearly the Tom Holland Spider-Man, the Peter Parker is not quite coming from the same perspective. He's just a kid in high school who hasn't gone through those moments. And I mean, obviously now in the new movie, we will see a version of him that has that trauma that he lives with, which informs, the character that he becomes. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not
Honestly,
as
Caleb,
triggered by
that's
this.
kind of fair because
So,
that was a
you
very.
know,
Although I think they did eventually retcon that retcon because they were like, oh wow, that's completely ball brained and fucking
mhm,
stupid. Let's not have that be the case. Because I think it was revealed that like Mysterio made Norman believe that he fucking had sex with Gwen Stacy and she gave birth, which definitely implies that he definitely had sex with Mysterio, but like that's definitely beside the point. So I think they did retcon that eventually, but obviously the damage was done, like no matter what like they were gonna do, it's damage was done.
yeah.
So it's definitely that's understandable. That's definitely understandable. So
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not as concerned about it in this instance because we'll get to see the version of Spider-Man we wanted to see for the longest time in the new movie because he's had that moment of, oh my God, I lost my Aunt May instead of Uncle Ben, and she told me about the power responsibility thing and blah blah blah. So I feel like they've sort of redeemed this version of Peter in some ways, but it's not the canon that we are aware of, like obviously. So or the canon that we're familiar with, I should say. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's kind of dumb. But hopefully it's not. It's just Russo brothers fucking blowing smoke out their ass. Next up,
I don't
X-Men
think they're gonna be
97 Season
touching
2
Spider-Man
promo art
much.
reveals
So.
new X-Men in their comic-accurate costumes. Yay. Y'all got story? No, we got comic-accurate costumes, bruh.
Have you seen it? Like, or like, are you just?
I'm sure it's a great show.
Okay.
I never
like,
watched the animated series, so I don't have any context for this, and it didn't make sense for me to watch this show. So
it's. I mean, a lot of this show is meant to kind of like bring back the '90s fandom into the fold.
yeah.
And obviously, this is like the first thing Marvel did X-Men related, since they got the character rights in a like more direct way. It's all
Mhm.
done, baby. So yeah, I like the costumes. I mean, this will be interesting to see how they translate this into the live action iterations, especially post Secret Wars once we get past the Fox characters, So yeah. But they look nice. This looks nice. X-Force. This is like is this like extra stuff on top of like the 20,000 things we looked at the other day, or
Yeah, I think this
yeah.
is some extra stuff, but yeah, for the most part, it's yeah.
John, you gotta watch the show. Nelson really wants you to see X-Men 97.
Well, maybe if you
You
spell
gotta
my
watch
name
it.
right, I'll actually watch a show.
It's John. It's okay. It's all good.
You get
what
what
is?
you fucking deserve. Anyway.
Okay.
You know who also gets what she deserves? Tatiana Maslany, maybe. I don't know. But apparently on potential She-Hulk return, even though it was like alleged that she like got fired as She-Hulk, but like she was talking about this, how she said fans would be so mad at me for being on their screens again, and yeah, probably.
But like I
But
don't get it. Like
so
just,
she was talking about she was doing an interview for her Apple TV series Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, and she seems to feel
yeah.
that the character may not as work as part of a superhero ensemble. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it would take somebody like Jessica Gao to weave her into that world because she knows that character so deeply and loves her and gets her tone. But there's something about She-Hulk being the star of her own show that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Because of the direct address, she is our narrator, so I think it would be real cool challenge to see her in some other context, but I do think like that sort of joy She-Hulk is in the singularness of it. I don't know. I think people would be so mad at me being on their screens again. Yeah, unfortunately that is the case. I mean, here's the thing. In regards to She-Hulk as a character, I like the character. It's just like I feel like from what I've seen of the show, it just kind of dropped the ball. You're like trying to make a courtroom comedy action show, but you don't know a fucking thing how to write for courtroom scenes. So it's just like, why though? And She-Hulk is really just a really interesting character, and she's not like I feel like there was something kind of like a lost in translation in regards to the comic character to the character that was adapted. Because like I feel like all the things because there was a lot of things in the comics that was in the show, but it
Mhm.
just like I feel like it just didn't work. It didn't mesh as well, and it didn't work as well as it should have. So it's kind of a shame because She-Hulk is a great character. She's a fan favorite. Fans have wanted to see her for years. Some liked the show, some hated the show, but I think I do hope that like who if they recast her, if they don't, I do hope that she does get the big screen treatment and she's written a little bit better. Whoever that doesn't it doesn't really matter, but I just hope she gets like some sort of redemption because I think She-Hulk as a character deserves it because she's not similar to Supergirl, who is getting her own feature this year. She's not just female Superman. She's not female Hulk. She's different. She's a very interesting character, and she's not as like weird and one note as she was in the show. So I hope she gets redemption, but we'll see if that's the case. With the backlash the show got, it's unlikely we'll ever see her again, which is sad, but that's kind of the case when it comes to the overwhelming uh loud minority of people that were not fans of the show. So,
I mean, I personally thought that the show missed the mark in terms of the humor didn't always land, and it was kind of misplaced. It was, well, like you said, the courtroom drama part never quite landed. Like I was like these people, and then when they admitted that they're like, we quite didn't know how to do this, and I'm like, never put your incompetence on display like that. Like it's that like I'd rather you fake it till you make it, especially if you were put in this position by a Kevin Feige to like make this happen. Um, but other than that, the show had its moments, and I enjoyed those moments. I just like like the Kevin Feige robot thing was a little like, okay, that's where we're headed with this, but ultimately, over time I've kind of settled on we could have gotten a lot worse. Am I itching to get a sequel or a season? No, but I also don't remember like how good the ratings were, so I don't know what the business case is for them to do another season. It might just be that like we've heard rumors she might be like in the Avengers movies, and then eventually they'll have her do other crossovers. It's gonna be interesting because like another fundamental issue was it's just the CGI of a character like that where the whole character is completely CGI, and you need to um have them be you know uh, prominently featured across 6-8 episodes on a TV budget is hard to do, even when Marvel's gotten this down for years now with the Hulk. What they've done with the
hmm
Hulk is like they've done it often enough, and that helped them with the basis of this character. But you could tell, like I can go and find stills from different episodes. I remember doing the reviews that some episodes the CGI looked really good, and some it looked really
right.
like that the Megan Thee Stallion scene with the twerking, that the CGI, like the suit CGI looked like a video game, when the suit, like the cloth kind of sticks to the body of the character and it doesn't move independently as much. It was and like the texture and rendering of that was off. And then there was some shots like this one here on screen, it looked really, really good. So yeah, it just was uneven, and I think like maybe in a movie the character would work better because they could kind of lean into that more with the better CGI and like
Yeah, that's
I
why
don't
I
know if
think
the
she should get the
yeah,
big screen treatment because the
exactly.
CGI will definitely be better and more refined. Because I think designating her to a TV show was definitely the wrong move.
Hmm.
Because like on the one hand, I can see what they were going for, but at the same time, this unless you were trying to do it all practically, which would have been impossible for the Hulk because the Hulk has been CGI since 2003. Um, I can't imagine that they would have did that. It would have been interesting if they did go for a more like Lou Ferrigno kind of vibe, just get like a really big bodybuilder and just paint them
Hmm.
green. But I don't know. It's just yeah, I just think it just didn't reach the high bar that I think She-Hulk can be, and yeah, that's kind of sad. But like, and I do think she deserves redemption. I think she deserves a big screen treatment, but it's unlikely we will ever get that again. So.
Well, it's possible. I think that's probably the best way to explore the character for the foreseeable future. And I mean, look, if Disney wants to greenlight a second season of the show, then by all means, like I'm not going to stand in their way. But I personally would like to see the character sort of take on, I don't know, like a role where, like, kind of like Deadpool, like where Reynolds wants him to sort of show up in these other projects and not necessarily have his own thing. I'd be okay with that with She-Hulk for a while. Like with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, he's been I mean, for rights issues. So and then eventually, like, yeah, you could get to a point maybe we can do a movie or something to that effect. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Right.
I mean, whether Tatiana Maslany will still be in the role at that point, I mean, I hope she is. She's definitely been.
I do
very
think
vocal
she's a
about
very good
certain things.
actress. I think she's underrated.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
She's always been exactly, very underrated. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the new show that she's got on Apple TV. The trailers look pretty impressive, so I wouldn't doubt that that's gonna be a fun show to check out when it does come out, unless it's already out. I haven't been following. So yeah.
Yeah. But then we have the final bit of MCU news, and that is going back to Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 finale set photos reveal alternate ending for spoiler. So let's get the spoiler stuff up so that, people... There we go. So spoiler warning, if you haven't watched Daredevil Born Again, just keep this in mind. So in the penultimate episode of Daredevil Born Again, Daniel Blake decided to protect BB Urich from Mayor Wilson Fisk and paid for it with his life. Buck pulled the trigger on the deputy, blah, 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 blah. So in a newly surfaced set photo from the Southern Cross, we see an alternate ending for Daniel as he and BB seemingly emerge from his mother's house. In this version of the story, Buck spared his friend, who, well, worse for wear, has clearly not been shot. The way it would have gone is that he stayed in the Fisk administration. He goes in to resign, and the new interim mayor is like, I'm not taking your resignation. I'm going to keep you close because I don't trust you. The showrunner ultimately realized that keeping Daniel alive was kind of a meh and non-story. Sometimes the arc is built in, and you're extending it a little too far. Like, wait a second, he and Buck in their twisted friendship both had to be true to who they were. That's the last moment, because everything afterwards seems kind of like a weird lame coda that didn't pay off. Or like, we should try this. They mocked it up really fast, and you could have heard a pin drop in the editing room after that. Like it is at the end of the episode. It's just like, holy shit. So, yeah, definitely interesting. So, yeah. Gandolfini gets shot again.
Yeah.
A Gandolfini gets shot again.
Facts. It's good to, well, I was gonna say good to hear, but like it's definitely, yeah. I was recently watching, I think Pete Davidson has a podcast on Netflix, and he was on there, the actor. And he was talking about how Pete like has one of the Escalades from The Sopranos that Michael Gandolfini used to just drive off the set and use as his personal car for a little while. Like, and there's still like, they'd go to like movies and stuff and whatever, and like there were tickets in there that anyway, so it was kind of fun. Random, sorry, not really connected to this story in any way. I just figured I'd bring that up. So but there you go, if you've been watching the show. I mean, it does set up the second season to be pretty gosh darn epic. Like, I don't know, John, like, it's, from everything I've been reading up about, I have not seen it myself just yet. It's looking like the second season is going to go a lot of places that people weren't necessarily expecting for it to, until having seen the finale. So that's always good news. So
yeah. But speaking of second seasons that are definitely exciting, apparently Harry Potter has been renewed for a season 2.
Hell yeah.
By HBO ahead of premiere. John Brown upped to co-showrunner. So already with we're getting Philosopher's Stone, and now we are gonna officially be getting Chamber of Secrets, whether you guys like that or not. We'll see how the show goes, but clearly HBO has enough confidence in this that they are gonna be doing season 2, and plus they invested so much money in this. I can't see this not going for its full run of like 8 to 10 seasons that they plan to do. So, there's that as well. But yeah, I mean, as people who have not watched the show just yet, watched any episodes, any footage outside of that trailer, we don't really know if this is a good or a bad thing. We hope it's a good thing for the people watching. Maybe it not. Again, who knows? Up in the air. but it's definitely the big thing that yeah, we are going to be getting Chamber of Secrets officially. But John Brown, who was just a writer for the first season, has been elevated to co-showrunner for season 2 alongside season 1 showrunner Francesca Gardner. The renewal comes as season 1 is still filming, with production slated to wrap in a couple of weeks. It was fully expected, and so was its timing. So Casey Bloys was, just talking about this, and that writing on the second season had already started, and he's the guy. He's the guy. So of course, like if he's saying that the second season started writing, yeah, it's pretty obvious that the shit has already started.
Actually, the point you're making, the good thing about what he's saying. Here's the thing. This tells me one of the things that it tells me is Casey Bloyd's contract is gonna be, the current contract is up before season 2 would release. So I'm not saying this.
Thank you for watching, Nelson. I don't know if you're leaving, but thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you. And hope to see you back in here again soon, Nelson. But I was gonna say it's a good thing to hear from Casey Bloys about this, because this is one of Casey Bloys' big initiatives. Like, obviously David Zaslav wanted it, but Casey Bloys is the man behind, like, he's the one putting in the effort. He's the one who was in UK with the big HBO Max launch in the UK and Ireland. So to me, it's a good sign that Casey Bloys is still very much engaged, because it makes it more likely that it'll stick around after the Paramount merger. Who knows, things could change still. But John, about the show itself, are you really surprised that they're renewing season 2? I don't think either of us are surprised. Nobody should be surprised. Nelson is sticking around. Thank you, Nelson. I'll just keep going back to this. They built a freaking school on the backlot at Reeves Studios that Warner Brothers has in the UK, so that the kids in the show don't even have to go off the studio backlot to go to school. They're like, you are living here for the next 10 years of your life. Like, not literally in every sense of the word, but like, and I'm not saying like they just built Hogwarts. They literally built a school for the kids to like go and study, because when it comes to child labor laws in Hollywood, you have some very specific restrictions around, like when you're working with child actors, and the hours that are defined within which you can work with them, and sort of other restrictions and whatnot, so which are there obviously to protect the kids against working super long hours. And movie, if you ever worked on a movie set, like, you could have a 10-12 hour day. That 10-12 hour day might be a normal thing. 14 hours might be like, oh, we're doing a lot of those this week. 16 hours, like that. I've been on set for like up to 18 hours at a time. Doesn't feel good after like even 10 hours, like, not to mention you're like, oh my god, that was only half of my day. So the level of commitment that Warner Brothers has already made to the show, building a school for the kids to actually attend, not just Hogwarts on camera, but an actual school the kids can go to on the studio backlot, they're all in on this. I'm not surprised they're giving it a season to early renewal. The views, the early reactions to the trailer, the fact that they're giving it to us starting this December in 2026, which was something that a lot of people did not expect. But it's the perfect time to do it. Like, Christmas time is Harry Potter time, and you start there with season 1 this Christmas. It's great. It makes sense, because if they're gonna do this like potentially yearly, I know they said it might not be possible to do it yearly because the VFX and everything for these shows, kind of like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, it takes more work. So I'm not saying we should expect season 2 Chamber of Secrets to come out December 2027, but getting an early season 2 renewal just means, like, from all the business side of view aspects of it, they're going to keep cranking on this. They will probably take a bit of a break, but they'll come back and get right back into it. There's not, and it allows the producers, the line producers and everybody, and the executive producers secure the talent both in front of and behind the camera for that. Even though people signed on for up to 10 seasons or however many seasons their character needs to be in there for, those are always optional appearances until the studio decides to act on them. So this kind of locks in a few of those guarantees, and then that's good to see from a business standpoint as well. But as a fan, it wasn't unexpected at all. Hey, Nelson also just saw Michael. 7.5 out of 10. Nice. I think I gave it a higher rating because, like, I'm a big Michael fan, but like 7.5 out of 10 is a perfectly reasonable number. So anyway, John, let's keep on rolling.
Yeah, and this one is saying it's starting filming this fall. So yeah, Very cool.
Nice.
But apparently
Hulu
the
indeed.
Bear, the last season that shouldn't have existed, getting a last season. But apparently, if FX has set the premiere, and it is going to be coming out on June 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be on FX and Hulu, but it's going to be internationally on Disney Plus, and all 8 episodes will be available to stream at debut. So if you were thirsty for more bear action, even though it hasn't been good since season 2, then boom, there you go. Enjoy it. So
Yeah, I
do you
saw
watch-
this.
Do you watch The Bear, Dan? I forget.
Not very often. I've only seen a few episodes. I'm not a regular watcher of The Bear. I watched it with like Fiona and her mom like for a bit. They're gonna be watching this season probably. It gets really dark. Like that surprise episode that they dropped was like a complete flashback episode. And the show kind of got like the way Fiona described it was ephemeral after a while, which I was like, huh. So interesting. By the way, are you getting Pet Libro ads on your browser? That's interesting. I buy Pet Libro stuff for my cats.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like a cat. I mean, I get like cat stuff from there. It's interesting. Anyway,
Now the advertisement
25th.
changed. So
Yeah.
once you
so-
said that, it's like, oh, we gotta leave.
Well, the final season will be here sooner than we
So-
expected, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, very exciting for any Bear fans, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those cases where it's just like it was a show that just was so fucking good, and then it just kind of shit the bed almost immediately after. So, yeah,
I mean, it's-
you know,
it's
it
still
kind of
won
reminds me of
quite
The
a few
Walking Dead,
Emmys.
where like
Yeah.
the season again, same thing. Season 1, excellent. Season 2, not quite as good, but still very good. And then everything after is just like, why does this exist? So, you know, shame, but that's just how the
Yeah.
game. Because the reason that like the show worked for me personally
Mhm.
is because it was this fucking like high class guy who was around these high class people doing high class fucking little elf food. Fucking, you take one bite and it's the entire meal because like high art or whatever the fuck dog shit, horse shit, bullshit, fucking rich people try to hawk. Like, oh, it's fucking, you know, so good. Yeah, I want to eat a meal, not a fucking bite. Fuck out of here. Anyway, and then he's like and then he's taking his brother's fucking, you know, shitty fucking steak shop in Chicago, and he's like, all right, I guess I have to do this now. And it was the duality of this guy who is still kind of a fuck up, but he was trying to transform the steak place into like a high class dining establishment, but it like doesn't work. And that's where like the intrigue and the drama came from. And then season 2, it's like you still have the hectic nature of turning it into this high class place. And then it's just like, oh, it's just a high class guy now turning everyone around him into high class people. And it's just boring now. It's just like there's no like drive. It's just like, okay, he's in the environment that has been in for the past 5-10 years or however long he's been doing this. So that's just like what I kind of felt, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's just all the intrigue and drama just kind of went away after that second season. And the one thing I wanted them to focus on, which was the relationship between Jeremy Allen White and Emily Gordon, I think the actress's name is.
Mhm.
Like, I wanted them to focus on that, and they're like barely touched upon. There's an entire episode about Sugar's pregnancy that I don't give a fuck about, and like Jamie Lee Curtis shows up again. It's like, I don't care. Like, I want to see like the bear in the bear. So I don't know. It just, for me, it was just, you know, it just dropped the ball, and it's kind of a shame because like that first season was so fucking good, and then it just kind of lost what it made it special to begin with. So
I mean, and you might not be the only one who thinks that, because obviously the show is coming. I mean, I feel like the show has kind of had its run. Like from everybody who I know who watched the show, it's like it's kind of overstayed its welcome. It's sort of like the Flash after the first couple of seasons.
Yeah,
you know?
because
Like
I mean, my parents. Because the thing is, I was gonna watch season 4 because I had watched season 3. It's like, okay, because at the time season 4 was supposed to be the last season, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch the last season, which is what I still plan to do for Stranger Things. I still haven't gotten the confidence and the suppression of anxiety down to finally watch that pile of shit. But like, I'm still gonna do it anyway eventually. But like, I'm like, okay, cool, I'll watch it. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're doing a 5th season, by the way. And it's like, cool, not watching season 4 or season 5 because like I'll sit through one more season of shittiness. I'm not gonna sit through 2 more seasons of shittiness. So I'm okay. I'm good. We're done here. Goodbye.
I was just gonna say, like, just don't get too attached to Sean Bean's character. But then again, that's like the general modus operandi with most Sean Bean characters. So,
what are you talking about?
I was talking about
confused.
Game of Thrones. I was talking about Game of Thrones. I think.
Okay, because that's what we're talking about next, right? House of the Dragon. So apparently, House of the Dragon season 3 poster reveals who will fight for the Iron Throne, win or die. Well, it doesn't fucking matter because we know who ends up at the Iron Throne because this is a fucking prequel. But sure. Season 1 for me, was definitely the best season. Season 2 was good. It wasn't great. It had some aspects, but not a lot of great ones. And then season 3 was bad. And then my parents who watched season 4 said that it was even worse. So yeah.
Well, but talking about the House of the Dragon season 3, so there's a new poster out, John, which reveals who will fight for the Iron Throne. Hashtag win or die, or I guess that's the thing on the poster. Do we have that's part of the poster? Do we have the whole poster in this article? Win or die. There you go. I guess they're all fighting for the throne. Makes sense. I guess somebody's already on the throne. So it's the forget the name.
This looks fucking like AI generated.
It does look half AI generated. You know what? That's actually a really good point.
Like the background doesn't look real. Like it looks fake, and then like all the people look real, but like the background looks AI generated.
I'm like, if you zoom in, do we see like 7 fingers somewhere? Like it's like 1, 2, 3. I feel like AI is sort of like gone past the finger.
I don't know. It looks like this guy has only 4 fingers, or woman, whatever.
Huh. Well, I mean, but like you have 4 fingers and a thumb. Like, is she missing a?
No, 4 fingers in total. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see a 5th finger there. So, we'll see. Who knows? I don't care.
Yeah, all right.
It's fucking Game of Thrones. I don't give a shit.
It almost looks real, says Caleb. It does look. It's like the Thunderbolts poster. Remember that we talked about? The Thunderbolts poster was definitely AI, and then the Fantastic Four one. Remember we were like they literally copy pasted like the same. That was partly AI. Like that was just lazy Photoshop work.
Yep.
So, anyway,
let's move on. We have one more bit of TV Talk Terror. In terms of a renewal, we begin and end with a renewal, and apparently SNL UK set to be renewed for season 2. It's weird how like it took them so long for them to get an international version, because you'd think like a show as big as SNL we would have gotten this like 20 years ago, but I guess it wasn't quite big enough then.
No, I'm not surprised because this was a big initiative on the part of NBC Universal to kind of like bring the brand of international for the first time. I mean, I don't think there's really ever been another SNL licensed expansion this way. So and I've seen a bit of it, and it works. It's impressive. It's not like the SNL the American version of SNL, but it's been going quite
it's
well,
different cultures and
stuff, so. But like I like a certain brand of British comedy. I've always loved, I've watched a lot of British comedy over the years, many sources and whatnot. So SNL has a nice, it's managed to fit in well with like trying to maintain the format that the original has, but then also adapt it to the UK audience's tastes. And I'm not surprised they're renewing it for season 2. Of course the test will be like let's see 5 years from now like where it's at. I think you can watch it on Peacock in the US if you have the streaming service. So but it does, I feel it airs, I forget what network, but it does air on TV in the UK. So but yeah, SNL UK coming back.
Definitely. And then that's it for TV Talk Terror. All done. All done with it. And in regards to what is next, well, Dan, why don't you hit that music and we'll get into the quick hits.
Let me find that music. There it is.
All right. So now let's get into the quick hits, and we have a lot of quick hits that I forgot to zoom in on, but that's okay. So the first thing we have is apparently ScarJo is to star in Ari Aster's Eddington follow-up, Scapegoat. So that's cool. Like, I was not a fan of some of Ari Aster's work. I heard Eddington was pretty good. I was going to watch it, but then I just couldn't find the time to do so. So I might watch Eddington. I might watch Scapegoat. We'll see how good it is, as long as, you know, it's not Ari Aster saying, you know, people with mental health issues deserve to die. I think we're going to be on a smooth sailing boat.
I was wondering what you were gonna say about this, because, like, you know, Eddington wasn't really your favorite film. So
no, I never watched Eddington. I hated Beau is Afraid. Beau is Afraid sucked.
Oh,
but...
Beau is Afraid was. I'm afraid of Beau is Afraid.
That Beau is Afraid was dog shit. Hereditary, I'm iffy on. I really liked Midsummer, so Ari Aster's kind of all over the place for me. I still want to watch Eddington because I'm curious about it, but if Scapegoat is good, I'll watch that too. But yeah. Anyway.
This is what my cat's up to right now. Look at this. I don't know if you can tell with whatever you're looking at here, but she's on her back.
I cannot.
To those
but
of
apparently,
you guys watching.
Oscar Isaac and Netflix double down on partnership. Beef Star, is Oscar Isaac now only known as Beef Star, will lead untitled Vegas series, signs production pact with streamer. So I think he's more than
I never
just
thought he was a beef. Okay, fine. Sorry, go ahead.
Like I know, like, oh, Oscar Isaac is just designated to guy who was in like show nobody talks about. Okay, cool.
I didn't know he was in
more
a
than
beef.
that.
Like, okay, cool.
But
anyway,
congrats to him, I guess. Next up, Brendan Fraser blasting off for high stakes Mars mission in Josh Wakely's Starman.
Hey,
so we have another entry in the Renaissance. He's gonna go back to the desert, and then he's gonna go up into space now for Starman. So
I was gonna say,
cool.
like, now you gotta use the David Bowie song there, right? Like, there's just no excuse to not use the David Bowie song. So yeah. He also looks great, by the way. Like, you know, he's really like.
Yeah, he's gonna be in that new movie about D-Day with the guy who played Moriarty. Yeah. Good stuff. Hopefully that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But next up, James Marsden has greenlit a spy thriller with him called Disavowed. And apparently it's coming from Iron Man writers. The term Iron Man writers is definitely used very loosely because that movie did not have a fucking script, but Art Markham and Matt Holloway. But yeah, cool. I won't watch it because I hate James Marsden, but you know.
Look, I enjoyed the role that he's been playing in Paradise. It's like weird because his character is like spoiler alert, his character has been dead since like season 1, so most of his stuff in the show is always like in these flashbacks. But I enjoy like what he's doing in that show. I haven't seen that other show that he was in, like that he was he winning an Emmy for that? I forget. Like it was on like was it Pop TV or something? Or was like on Roku TV? There was a show that he was a part of. But he's been doing some good work recently. I mean, he's obviously going to be in the MCU again. Well, for the first time as Cyclops. So good that he's. I mean, as an actor, like you get it while you can, and because you know it ain't. It's not always going to be flowing. So. And he's been in he's kind of like Hayden Christensen, where he was in a really high profile property in the early part of his career that really painted him in a certain light, and then he had to kind of readjust because obviously things didn't always go well, and he was under the microscope with a very passionate fan base, and to kind of then be able to recover and make a career out of that, I'm glad that he's doing other things. I don't know what kind of person he is personally. John, you seem to not like him as a person. So there's that.
No, not particularly.
Yeah. You don't like him in Sonic, John?
I mean, that's the only thing I watch with him nowadays is because I like Sonic. I don't like that he's in them. I was really fucking hoping that fucking Sonic 3 would kill him off because it definitely seemed like the trailer was going in that direction. But unfortunately, Tom did not get killed. So hopefully he dies in the next one.
Cool.
But anyway,
I mean, I shouldn't, you know, like I'm not calling for like, well, I guess it's a character as long as it's not like
it's a character, not actually him.
It's not a character. Got it.
Anyway, but next
I had
up,
to pause for a second.
Miles Teller and Eddie Redmayne in talks to play mismatched CIA agents in Doug Liman spy thriller Star One CAA launching sales and cons. This could be cool. I like Doug Liman. I like Miles Teller. I like Eddie Redmayne, and I like spy thrillers. So this could be good.
I was gonna say, like, the Day of the... Have you seen the Day of the Jackal, which is like a remake of that movie from the 70s? It's on Peacock, I think. Season 1 was out like a year or so.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And I don't think it was meant to be more than a season, like one season thing, or I guess the story that the movie covered, they covered in season 1. But now they're actually gonna be back with another season. Eddie Redmayne in that show was very captivating, and then Miles Teller, of course, is, you know, he's probably gonna be back for Top Gun 3. He's currently in Michael, so like the guy is, he's made quite the career out of, like, he, you know, after the Fan Stick situation, and he had a couple of bad movies, and I think now he's picking better projects. So, I mean, isn't he another guy who's like, there's been rumors about like he's not necessarily the best person to work with, Miles Teller, but I don't know. I like the work that he does on camera, so that's yeah.
But next up, Paul Mescal and Jesse Buckley to reunite after Hammond for Ben Zeitlin's outlaw romance Hold On to Your Angels. So that's kind of cool. They're coming back again to do another film, so this could be possibly interesting. I don't know, but
you know, I could totally see them as like a Bonnie and Clyde. Why am I forgetting the two actors? It was Faye Dunaway and
Warren Beatty.
And Warren Beatty. I could totally see these two do like a modern day Bonnie and Clyde adaptation of some kind.
Well, it can't be any worse than The Bride. Oof. Anyway. But Melissa Barrera, who apparently his career is not quite dead yet, is apparently to lead horror feature Inhabit from Adam Aleka and sales launching in con with Logical Pictures. So cool, good for her. You know, after like essentially nuking her career after what she said about Scream 7.
Well, the thing was, it's like I felt like that was unfair that she got.
No, it is 100%
you know,
unfair.
Like,
but the fact that you don't just like, I mean, here's the thing: it's a whole balancing act. Because on the one hand, I'm glad she didn't just stick her head in the sand and just be like, okay, yeah, fine, sure, whatever. No, she's like, no, fuck those people, fuck what they did, fuck that movie. I'm gonna do my own. Miles Morales. I'm gonna do my own thing, and then boom, that's what she did. That's what she's doing. But at the same time, Hollywood doesn't like that. Okay, they don't like when you speak up about shit, unless it's Me Too, which eventually turned into a witch hunt anyway. But it's like, yeah, they don't like that shit. Like, look what happened with Ray Fisher. Bro doesn't have a career anymore after he called out the bullshit on the Justice League set. So, shit happens. Yeah. But I just hope she has I hope she has a career. But you know, Hollywood does not partake kindly to accountability. So, you know.
I mean, without getting into the politics of it all, I will say, like, she just recently started off a production company, and she's talked about, like, she'd love to work with other actors who share her views, and that's, like, very important to her that, you know, she worked with actors who are, you know, on the same side of, like, the opinion that she has on things. And then also, you know, she was really vocal about other things recently. Yeah, it's just, she's kind of like Tatiana Maslany, like, in, you know, or Mark Ruffalo, for example, where some actors are more vocal than others.
Price of one.
Yeah. And then, you know, Mark Ruffalo is still in the MCU. Tatiana Maslany may still return in the future. So it could work out for you, but then there's, like you said, Ray Fisher, for example, or what happened with... But she was in that show with Simu Liu, like, that's on Peacock right now.
Copenhagen.
Yeah, I like, no, she was more captivating than Simu Liu's character, and I could not sit. I fell asleep watching that show like 3 times. Like, no offense, that show is just like.
I mean, I will say, okay,
can't understand
maybe Shang-Chi did some magic, or maybe not. I don't know, but it just feels like Simu Liu is just kind of a boring actor. Like, he just doesn't have any sort of charisma or any like from what little I've seen of Shang-Chi and what little I've seen of Copenhagen, it just he just kind of seems blah. Like he's just kind of bland and he's not really all that good at acting. He's just kind of boring. So maybe Destin Daniel Cretton managed to work some voodoo magic and gave us something good, or like it was saved in the edit or something. I don't know, but he just kind of seems like a kind of a dredge, a little bit of a stick in the mud kind of guy. You know, I'm sure he's a nice guy, like no hate to the person. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. It's just all the acting I've seen from him has not been very good. So
I would have like up until the Copenhagen test, I was like ardently arguing against you, like, no, he's a great actor, like he just needs the right things. And I'm like, after watching the Copenhagen test, I'm like, I don't know, you might be onto something there, because it's not like the material is so opaque that you can't make anything of it. His character was, I mean, the show overall I feel like is badly written, so maybe he does need something else that's really good. But like a great actor can elevate even a bad script, you know. And he just he kind of disappears in a show that is really centered around his character sometimes, which was interesting to experience. I was like, maybe you're on okay then there, John. So yeah.
But yeah. And then now we're getting into the Paramount Warner Brothers stuff, which I designated a quick hits because I really don't want to talk about this for very long. But apparently, Warner Brothers Discovery lost almost $3 billion in March quarter, but that's pretty much just because of the Netflix breakup fee, because Paramount had to pay Netflix for fucking up the deal they had. So they're like, hey, here's $2.8 billion, and Netflix is like, cool. We're going to bury you in theatrical releases. Suck a dick. Can't wait for Narnia to beat your ass. Bye. And so, they took the money and run. And so now they're kind of merging those things. And now it looks like Warner Bros. Discovery has a bigger loss than they actually do. So, whoopsie-daisies.
So ultimately that 2.9 billion of that 2.8 billion is directly a result of that payment, the breakup fee, like you said, John. Paramount is reimbursing them. I guess it just works out that it counts against their bottom line for this quarter, and then down the road Paramount will like make up for it. But it's not money that's coming out from ultimately Warner Brothers shareholders' pockets. I guess I don't know how they're gonna make it work, but like maybe that will just get added up to the whatever money they pay to the shareholders. Ultimately, Paramount does, but they're reimbursing the fee. So that means they were still in the loss by like $100 million. Which is a small amount, and then the majority of the money that they made came from the streaming service, their linear networks, which are still the big money makers. The studios were kind of in the middle, like they make the TV shows and the movies. Marvel Cuphead, we'll get to all that stuff in a bit. Matthew Lillard is not playing Brainiac, but hello to you. But yeah, I mean, John, there were a bunch of like Disney reported their numbers this week. Paramount did, Warner Brothers Discovery did. Disney was, big focus on. They want to make the Disney Plus app like this everything app that you go and do all your Disney stuff in. And I'm like, not everybody wants to go to Disney parks. Like some people just want to watch The Bear, for example, like which is all under the same. I will say it's kind of convenient now. The Disney Plus app has ESPN and Hulu available within it, so I don't have to jump around apps anymore. But I don't know. Josh D'Amaro's first, and this one of the last few of David Zaslav as the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, because this time next year it will probably be David Ellison doing these.
Gross.
Warner Brothers will be part of the
Paramount. Speaking of David Ellison though, Media CEO Pay 2025, how David Zaslav, Bob Iger, Ted Sarandos, and other moguls made bank as Hollywood struggled. So the rich get richer and the industries surround them get poorer and poorer. Ain't that nice? I fucking hate this timeline.
I was gonna say it's a great Photoshop. Yeah. I mean, this has been happening for years. I feel like this is just something that you need systemic change in America for any of this to change. But yeah. I don't have anything else to add to that. It's just like you said, it is what it is.
But David Zaslav says HBO Max is probably Warner Brothers Discovery most important asset. I mean, yeah, with the future of streaming, all that stuff kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I mean, didn't streaming services not warrant a profit until like 5 years after they were all made? So I don't know if that's...
Well, Yeah, streaming even now is only just profitable for most of these companies. Like, they're profitable. Netflix more profitable than any of the other ones, but Netflix is primarily a streaming service. It means more because, like, forward looking, it means that yes, down the road, the streaming service will matter more. Basically, David Zaslav is saying what Paramount just bought, the biggest thing they got out of it was HBO Max, because the TV networks are one thing, the studios are another thing, but really down the road, like, ultimately everything feeds into the streaming service. Even the movies that go into theater ultimately end up on HBO Max, which makes HBO Max the most important asset that David Zaslav was talking about. Whether you agree with that or not is up to you, but that's the current CEO's take on the matter. So.
Yep. Anyway, Robert Downey Jr. says it's absolute horseshit to declare that social media influencers are the stars of the future. I agree. Fully agree. Because especially when it's been revealed that whenever now people are considering actors as they look at how many social media followers they have, which is like, I hate that so much. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You know? No, and RDJ rightfully says the right thing and calling out the bullshit, but you know.
He also mentioned that his own son kind of got into this like gaming influencer thing, Hello Watcher, and he was talking about how like it's that thing of like, oh, if you really like me gaming, and then you know maybe you'll give me a donation, and then you know all of a sudden there's this like thing that builds around it. He was saying like, is that really the same thing as like what he likes to do is like, I want to create things, I want to tell stories, I want to create like are influencers like, you know, creating new IP in the same way that, you know, when you watch a TV show or a movie that becomes its own, like for example, Project Hail Mary could become its own franchise. That's not the same thing as, you know, watching your favorite gamer who's you know using a popular game to then get a following, and then you know it's just I you know there's much more of a gray area than just simply saying it's not a binary like it is or it isn't, but I tend to lean as of right now with what RDJ is saying. I think he's more right than he's wrong. So
but yeah, no, fully agree. And finally, another really good bit of news. Apparently Golden Globes is following suit with what the Oscars recently had, is that AI doesn't automatically disqualify a movie or show as long as human creative direction is primary throughout production. So it's not quite as like substantial as Oscar, but it's essentially like if it's not human based, it's not going to be considered. So
yeah, I mean basically they didn't like shut the door on AI the way the Oscars did, which to me I'm like, okay, I guess I get it. Like the Golden Globes have always been a little more lenient in those like policies and how they go about it, so fine. But you know, I appreciate that they're putting some restrictions there. Like it's, you know, it's not going to be as simple as like we're going to make a great AI movie that's like very, you know, believable, and then all of a sudden it's going to get nominated for these awards. They're still siding with the human storytelling and creation aspect of things, which is great. So
yeah, but that's it for quick hits now. Oh Dan, we have quite a fucking bit for DCU Daily after kind of a not great last few days of barely any news. Oh, we got news for you guys. We have all the news. We have so many news across so many projects. So Dan, let's get into that, because I think it's safe to say that your boy, Mr. Gunn, has maybe even blessed us with a lot of news today.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
Welcome to DCU Daily. Today, oh my god, so much stuff. I already talked about it in the intro, but I will reiterate here, we do have so many things. We got some birds, quick hits birds of pelicans and parrots of DCU news. We got Supergirl stuff, the next major film in the DCU. We have a little bit from the man himself, the new god. I don't know, but maybe god, maybe not. A little bit too flawed to be a god, but that's just me. And then a little bit of Man of Tomorrow because, well, I would say he's probably a god that's going to be part of that movement. I'm just saying, like Matthew Lillard's pretty fucking awesome. So we'll get into that. And then finally, the thing I'm most excited to talk about. Ba-da-dum, da-dum, dum, 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 da-da-dum. Legacy of the Dark Knight launched its launch trailer today, and I am very much excited to talk about that. And I'm sure we will be kissed from a rose, and that rose is named Dan. He shall also join us in this long journey of DCU Daily for Thursday Now Friday. How are you doing, Dan, on this wonderful Thursday Now Friday?
I'm doing great. Yeah, excited.
What are you excited to talk about?
I'm excited to talk about the Batman Part 2 and everything Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves released a few images talking about like what they're filming right now, and very much looks like winter is coming, or is already here in Gotham. Which I was gonna just point out, the whole thing of like fandom is like, we have never seen Batman in snow. I forget. Well, you guys forget. That
Batman Returns exists, guys. Hello.
You know, the Dark Knight Rises, the whole third act takes place in like winter time. There's like
Batman Returns did it first because it took place around Christmas. So
true. I'm just saying there's been other examples, but as far as live action, I mean, but it's also like I was looking at it as like, okay, so maybe he means it more like, how we haven't seen Detective Batman before, which we did, but then he gave us Detective Batman for 3 full hours, which obviously is different or more. So
pacing, what's that? Yeah. Matt Reeves probably. Anyway, get a fucking real editor next time, Matt Reeves. Jesus fucking Christ.
We did not hear the villain of Bats 2 could be Calendar Man. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from, but thank you for sharing.
I think so I think I know what the Watcher's talking about, because the thing is, it seems like this one is like doubling down on the Long Halloween influence, and one of the big parts of that story was Calendar Man. He wasn't the main villain, but he was kind of like a Hannibal Lecter type character. So I think that's what he's referencing, but I don't think Calendar Man is gonna be in this movie. So
yeah, well, I guess we'll find out.
I thought it was good. Like, what?
What was good? Calendar Man would be wild. What? It's not a terrible third act. Caleb, go fuck yourself. Like, The Dark Knight Rises has a great third act. It's the only time that I think that we have ever seen in a Batman movie where Batman's fighting out in daylight. Or maybe it's happened more since then, but at the time it was like you had never seen a Batman movie. I mean, that's hard to pull off, to like have a suit that actually looks great in sunlight as it does in the dark, because that's the whole idea of Batman.
Okay, so, nobody can defend that. Not even Nolan or
that one.
Marion
Yes,
Cotillard
the whole like
can't even defend that.
Yeah, like it's I will, yes, that, and then the way she like dies is like, and I'm like, oh god. Like, there's some
Nolan,
moments
you couldn't
in there,
get another take of that, like
it's like, were you really running out of film? Like, so there's some problems. The way they they kill off Bane in like this jokey way at the end, but I get it. It's fine. Like, it is what it is. It's like it's not perfect, but I did enjoy like the scale of it. Like, they literally had thousands of people on set. Like, that's not easy to pull off. Not to mention in the downtown, what was it, like Chicago or something, wherever they shot that. So, yeah. Well, there you go, Caleb. Now you're talking. So let's move on.
Anyway, let's go into the Parrots, Ducks, Pelicans of DCU news. Because the first thing we need to talk about is, how do you do, fellow kids? We also have the anime. Because Absolute Batman has referenced lots and lots of anime throughout its very roller coaster-like run. And mainly it's the roller coaster that keeps going up but has never come down. So, So obviously it has tons of reference. We got tons of references with the the variant art. We have Akira, classic. One Piece, also classic. I think this is Berserk. I believe that's Guts. So there's that. Then you have Death Note. It took me a second, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, I recognize him. Yep. Death Note. Chainsaw Man, obviously, perfectly nice and wonderful. But I'm hopefully all the anime fans are happy with this because it seems like Scott Snyder or Nick, what is his name? Nick Dragotta are anime fans. So, but try not to reference Akira Challenge. Impossible. Yeah, it's like the only. It's like apparently to some people like the only things like anime is like Akira and Cowboy Bebop, and that's like not even the best anime things. Honestly, I'm gonna say this: the Akira movie overrated.
It's good.
There,
Well,
I said it.
Okay.
Boom.
I'm just gonna say I like the references.
No, I like the
enjoy
references.
look
They're
of it.
nice.
You know, it's nice. It is nice. Yeah. So
My
cool
Demet
stuff.
mine is really disappointed. Yeah. Evangelion. Ooh. Definitely a creepazoid. Anyway, let's not get into that. But hang on a sec. But here, Dan, since I know you love talking about the Bulge so much, we have a little bit of Bulge Watch. But this was from a podcast from a while ago. And they recently uploaded this clip. I found it on my page. I'm like, okay, we got to talk about it. So essentially, this person's like, hey, I'd go watch the movie for Crypto, and if you're shirtless. And the thing is, David Kort's like, I can't say that. And then this other dude comes in, he's like, well, I've seen the movie, and you know what? You see full cock and balls in this movie, and they are awesome. Obviously, the guy's kidding, but I think he downloaded the wrong Superman movie. But I don't know. I just, considering we talk about Bulge Watch a lot, I thought this was funny to throw in.
You got the wrong movie, dude. That's the wrong.
And not only is he shirtless, full cock and balls.
He's like, I don't think
I
you're
wish we
watching
still
the
had
same
that
movie
Bulge
that-
Watch
like-
overlay, but we
Yeah.
do not.
I'll have to
But this was
find
really
it.
funny. I got a real kick out of this. You can see from the laughing emoji I already reacted to. But but yeah, this was really funny. This is from the Take Your Shoes Off podcast. So if you want to go watch that podcast, then I mean he's dressed up as Darth Vader because of course, you know, David Cornsweet is the ultimate fucking Star Wars nerd. But I just found this to be really funny. Like it just made me laugh because like we talk about David Cornsweet's Bulge. Of course we have to feature this on the show. So there we go. Perfect. Are you happy, Dan? You got a bit of Bulge today talking about the Bulge, not showing it.
Look, Bulge Watch is definitely back on because they're gonna eventually start filming in Ohio because they're heading back that way, right? So I can't wait to see what that turns into. Because right now,
no. This was from a while because you could see at the beginning of the clip. He's like, "Hey, go see Superman, July 11th," showcasing that the movie has not come out. This was from a while ago. This was like after this was from last year. They just the people behind this podcast Facebook page just re-uploaded the clip from an earlier from this early episode that was from, you know, May or June of last year. So this isn't recently. It's just the clip was uploaded recently, but it was from last year. So don't worry, he doesn't actually look like that right now. So yeah, but anyway, Bulge Watch, give us what we want, James Gunn. I want the Bulge popcorn bucket. I want it. The money is mine. I want it. It's too obvious. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the newspaper one, but like, god damn it, this would have been amazing.
I think they should lean into it. Like, I honestly
they
don't
should.
see any reason why.
James, come on. Like, we want it. I want to grab popcorn out of David Cornsweet's Bulge. Come on, give it to me. It's right there. Give it to us. We want
it. Please. Yeah. I want to zoom into this. No, just keep going. Right there. The ads are going crazy. We'll try to tamp those down. Sorry, man.
But the next thing, you know, there was a lot of speculation that Theo Rossi, who also played Shades in Luke Cage, was like, "Hey, are you Scarecrow?" And they're like, he's like, "Who knows?" Which is kind of giving us like a little bit, maybe kind of sort of, but like, I mean, he's not named like, the character. So like obviously they can just go for like an original character, but also happens to be the Scarecrow. I don't think he is Scarecrow. It would be cool to see him as Scarecrow, and I think he could do it. It's just I don't think that character is Scarecrow. So do you remember his character from Penguin? Like he was
he was like the therapist for
Gigante, for Sofia Gigante.
Yeah. I don't know. I never quite thought that. I know. Well, there were definitely hints, but they never quite. It wasn't anything that they ever like leaned into. Like, oh, this is
Jonathan Crane. I couldn't think of Jonathan.
Like
Crane,
they never kind of told us like this is the way they're going. But the thing is also Sofia Gigante is not in this. Like that character
she's not
felt
here.
like it
so
was,
why would he show up?
Yeah, because like you think about it, like that character was very directly attached to Sophia's lore. So if she's not a part of the movie, I'm not saying it's impossible for him to show up. I mean, or in a future iteration, I just don't know if he's going to be showing up here in this particular movie. Like we might just have to wait a little while for that to be the case. So anyway,
but his name is Julian Rush and not Jonathan Crane. So
that's what I remember the character. Yeah, sorry, I don't.
But like apparently in episode 4, I don't really remember like the Scarecrow's mask and glove, which looked like the ones from the Arkham games, showed up in his office, and I'm like, I think you're probably kind of grasping at straws. Could I see it? Absolutely. Would he do a great job? Sure. But I don't think it's the case. I think it's just either a reference or it was something completely different and people just saw the wrong thing.
Yeah. No, I don't think we'll have to worry about that so much right now. But I mean, it's a good theory.
I mean, it makes sense considering, like Batman is all about fear. So the fact that like Scarecrow's thing is fear toxin, it makes sense. So there's that. But next up, Superman Returns this August for Kingdom of Zod crossover event featuring Supergirl, Superboy, and more. So we're getting wonderful comic stuff, but we're getting Kingdom of Zod. We're getting and it's going to be mainline. It's going to be within Supergirl, Action Comics, Superman Unlimited, and Superman. Joshua Williamson, Sophie Campbell, Mark Waid, Dan Slott, and tons of other talented people. Well, Dan Slott notwithstanding, but we also have like Reign of the Superboys that's coming in soon. So what just happened. Sorry, I thought Reign of the Superboys hasn't happened yet, but Reign of the Superboys just ended. So we're getting more Zod. No. Anyway, but very exciting because Zod is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, even though I think we have seen him in Superman movies plenty, so maybe we'll give that for a while. So cool.
But yeah, very cool. But Homelander definitely got a very interesting poster in The Boys. Very interesting reference. So
I thought you'd enjoy this, John. What do you think?
Yeah. It definitely, I will say what I like about this one is like you could definitely see like the American flag instead of the original poster, which is just red and blue. You could definitely see like the blue and then the stripe. So I'm like, okay, it's the America. So it's definitely same. I'm glad we have a base chat, but yeah, I thought it was funny. Like throw it in there. All right, fine, but definitely a funny parody poster. And I also love how for the tagline they use Supergirl's "Look Out" instead of "Look Up." So I thought
I think that feels funny. More. Even though they've kind of veered away in the marketing now to like more. What is it?
Truth, Justice, whatever. But initially it was "Look Out." So yeah. And I know they Firecracker parodied the whole Nicole Kidman ad with like with the deep popcorn bucket that was a reference to the Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket with his mouth, and it looks like a
good parody can go a long way. So this on the other hand, I'm like, I've heard that, so this is not watching the show, you guys let me know if any of you are watching the show. I've heard that this season seems to be spending a lot of time with Soldier Boy, sort of almost like in some way setting up Watt Rising a lot. Like there's an weirdly like large amount of screen time being given to Soldier Boy's character, so that because they're building towards that next thing.
Right.
Which some people are not a fan of. But I mean, look, this is a show that I feel like another show that should have like it probably ran its course a few years ago for me personally. Because we've kind of moved past that in superhero media in terms of the popular consensus of like this.
Yeah,
dark
because
parody
I feel like
kind of a
The
thing,
Boys was a
you know?
show that came out at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a show that vehemently hated superheroes
Mm-hmm.
at a time when like superheroes media was like at its peak. So, you know, this and Invincible and Jupiter's Legacy, which were more satires or deconstructions of superhero media, it was at a time when it was like, you know, really like at its peak. So it was like for all the people that were kind of sick of that and wanted like edgelord crap, which is exactly what those three shows kind of were, even though I really love Jupiter's Legacy. It was like, okay, this is for the people that don't really like superhero movies. And it's like, oh, what if there was a show where superheroes are assholes? Or what if there's a show where it's like, you know, the whole evil Superman thing and Homelander and Omni-Man double down on that. So, you know, it was kind of like right place, right time for The Boys. But now that people are kind of done with it, we're kind of in a new age of superhero movies where people are kind of done with them. They're not quite as popular, but now they're kind of embracing like the stuff that this show is making fun of. So it's like now people are kind of done with it. So it's like, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that deconstructionist perspective on superheroes. Like we have sort of moved. I'm not saying that kind of perspective on the genre won't return. It's kind of like westerns. You know, everything goes in cycles. Like I'm sure The Boys will feel more relevant sometime in the future. It just happens to be that today it's kind of lost because like you said, the genre is not in that same place anymore. So
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, that's you know, just kind of going into a bigger conversation we don't have time for. But apparently the Penguin season 2 is officially listed on the WGA website. Lauren LaFranc is listed as the showrunner, while Mad Men writer Semi Chelis is listed as consulting producer. So who knows if this is actually true or not, because we've dealt with like even official production like newsletters, and like remember we did that Production Weekly thing where they're like, oh yeah, Booster Gold is filming soon, and that was total hogwash.
Well,
So,
but like it could be true at the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that won't change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
so
it's just you can't take it
maybe
hard
season
and
2's
fast.
happening, but I can't see that this is the case for the
Yeah.
future. It might like they might be trying to get it to happen now, but I don't think that that's the case.
So
you know,
I'll say two things. One, Lauren LaFranc did re-up with HBO. She's staying in the house of home, you know, HBO, and part of that you got to imagine they probably wanted to do season 2 of the Penguin. Everybody, every time you asked them about it, Casey Bloys was asked about it in the recent HBO launch in the UK, or HBO Max launch in the UK. They are looking into ideas. Matt Reeves has talked about it. It's just the priority right now is the Batman Part 2. But now that the Batman Part 2 is in production, they have a better sense of the direction where the Penguin character is going. They have a better sense of direction where that world is going to be at after the end of that movie. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's movement behind the scenes and they're starting to nail down a few things, like, you know, starting up a writer's room, or like in the process of bringing it back some of those people, like, you know, Semi Chelis, who's listed as consulting producer. Lauren LaFranc would be most likely still the showrunner because she did such a great job in season 1. So it's entirely possible that this means that, you know, they're starting to get their ducks in a row from the writer's perspective, because the first thing you do for a show is you start the writer's room, or you restart the writer's room in this case. And so it would be a good first step, or one of the first few steps. And we likely wouldn't hear any confirmation of this until, you know, a few steps down the road. The other thing would be they're in the process of going through that whole merger thing. So some of these things might be in a bit of a limbo. Like, you know, they won't like get the complete green light until they move into that new era, because they'll want to see. I mean, I don't imagine they're gonna be like, oh no, we don't want to do a sequel to the most popular, best DC show that HBO's ever done. But it's just, you know, some the people who will be making decisions may not be in those same positions in a year's time. So they might want to hold on to that for a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about this as in a more concrete way before the end of the year. And it would be good news because we all want to see a season 2, because I want to see the Penguin get his for fucking up Vic, and Vic did not deserve it. I would like to see the Penguin's flavors get mixed up a little bit more as a result of the shit that he pulled. That dude is legit scary by the end of that season, John. Because it's just like, oh god, like Joker's level wild, like how delusional his character is.
It's almost like he's a villain or something. Crazy, bro.
No, I know. I'm just saying, it's just they did such a good job of it. So.
But for our last bit of a kind of a quick hit, kind of not, but apparently, we have, the Batman Part 2. Apparently we got a first look, and let me get the other article because I thought I put it in, but I guess not. My bad. But because we got apparently it started filming, and we got our first look at the Batmobile in a snowy biome in a snowy Gotham. So let's take a look at that. Let's divert it. Let's do that. There we go.
John, I thought this was huge because the Batman Part 2, after years of like, oh, we're gonna get there, we're eventually gonna like film it, and we're going to production now. This is tangible. Like, this is Matt Reeves sitting in Video Village watching them shoot what looks like another banger, like, chase sequence with the Batmobile, except there's snow, and there's snow blowing past the cars. This might just be second unit photography, because I know like some of the in-car shots that they shot with Robert Pattinson, like all this close-ups, they shot in like this LED environment, like for the first movie. But you got to put the pieces together, and you got to start somewhere. And this is great. I don't know if you can like click into this, because Matt Reeves obviously shared like 3 of these images, and then he responded to a few fan comments as well, which was really nice. Because somebody was like, oh, so glad to see Batman in the snow, and he was like, yes, indeed, it is happening. Which again, we have seen it before, but it's good to see that Matt Reeves is.
And then someone said this is the most you've tweeted in one sitting. A new record over here, just having a little fun, and we see a little bit in regards to that. So I don't know if that's Penguin or what. So.
Yeah, is there more than one person in that car? Actually, like, let's dig into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there somebody, because like it's obviously Batman would be on the left side of the car, right? So like you gotta wonder is there somebody else? It's most likely Gordon, right? Like Detective Gordon, isn't it?
Maybe. I mean, we kind of see glasses a little bit, so maybe that's the case. But
yeah.
But it definitely looks interesting.
This looks great. I'm just trying to see if there's any more details to be had from this. Time code 2336. So they're shooting this late at night whenever they were doing this. So this was 11:36 at night when they were filming it. What else? Media. Okay, so 41 hours. Okay, cool. 41 minutes into the media, whatever card they have inserted. I'm trying to see what other. They're shooting in RAW 6.5K. So they're shooting in RAW 6. That's the resolution. They're shooting in log. Okay. If you know your camera stuff, you know what that is. All right. There's some other details in there that are not as relevant. Yeah. Shooting it late at night. Not surprised. I mean, definitely look. You can see there's snow sticking to the ground. So this is not even just like there's just blowing of snow, which a lot of the Dark Knight Rises was just like snow blowing in the wind. And this is like, it feels like deep into the winter months, the way they're shooting this. And the shutter speed 172.8. Looks like Matt Reeves has already had a long day. He's gone through a few bottles of drinks. This is at 2 a.m. at night. Look at this. The time code on that is 2 a.m., 2:10 in the morning. They're shooting all this stuff. This is like shooting into the night, like late into the night. So yeah, that's awesome. What do you mean, Brian? So this is like the third Batman 2? You mean like the third sequel? I guess, because like
Batman Returns, Dark Knight. Yeah.
Dark Knight and the Bat. Yeah. That's fair.
I don't think we're getting Mr. Freeze. I think
that's the speculation, right? Also, is that the police chasing him, or is he like He's
Well, it looks
facing
like
the
that's a
police.
tail light, so it definitely looks like they're facing
He's
off.
facing off at something or something. That looks like those look like cop cars to me. I will say, like, dirtying up the frame. You get the anamorphic lens flares. It's definitely got a look to it. It looks nice. I've definitely shared shots like this from like being on set. It's like always those moments, and I've like been on shoots when you're like shooting at 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's like, you know, dark as heck outside, or it's a moonlit night or whatever. He could do Mr. Freeze. He could. Just because there's snow doesn't mean there's Mr. Freeze.
Again, last 2 times there were snow did not feature Mr. Freeze. So, well, authentic snow, I should say.
Right. So I don't know, John. Anything else that you can kind of glean from these photos? Those 3 specifically.
We're gonna get some cool action sequences.
That's fair. I agree with that. It's gonna be hard to pull off something that's gonna be an improvement or a, you know, upping the ante on what they did with, of course, the Batman. That's somehow become the best, if not, well, certainly one of the best chase sequences, or just any kind of a sequence involving the Batmobile ever, and in a history of great Batmobile sequences. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can top that, you know, from what they did in the Batman with what they do here. It also looks like what they're shooting here. I don't know if it's all part of the same sequence or not, or if it might be 2 different things. Because they're going back to the same kind of like standing sets that they had in Warner Brothers Leavesden, where they built like the docks and stuff for Gotham City that they shot in. So yeah. Yeah, just probably the snow is more of an aesthetic choice probably than anything else. I mean, I'm excited. This looks great. Can't wait to see more of the Batman 2. If this is like you know, a preview of things to come, I hope Matt Reeves gives us more of these inside looks. People like following along with this. It's great marketing. James Gunn has proven that,
and it's free marketing.
It's free marketing. It works really well. It's organic. People are sharing, and it's coming from the source, so it's not like, you know, you're spreading rumors and stuff. So
yeah, and Matt Reeves like actually talking about stuff with fans, like, oh, seeing a bloody Batman in the snow. I really hope this means it happens. Indeed, it is. So that's definitely something. And then, you know, it's time. And then Matt Reeves replied to this with like a heart.
Indeed, it is.
So yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Very cool indeed. Awesome.
Chill.
What happened to the Iceman? Or
no, the Iceman cometh.
What happened to the something whatever anyway?
But we're not talking about the Iceman. We're talking about the Maiden of Might now. The summer of Supergirl, because we got a lot of more looks at our
we go from the snow
Woman
to
of
the
Tomorrow.
Sunny alien landscapes. Yeah.
But USA Today dropped a new look at Millie Alcock and Supergirl. So this is her on the space bus. It's kind of like an elongated shot, because it's like you have this, and then you have like her, and then it's like one long. It's like in threes. So
yeah, it's that big. I mean, I feel like this is all like still gonna be from like the first act of the movie for the most part.
100%.
You know, 100%. Getting more looks at that though. What is she holding? Is that like some kind
of? It looks like a like remote or something. It looks like, you know what? It looks like a trigger or something. But where is it? That's the key. Where is it? Where is the trigger? Anyway,
where's the trigger? Where is it?
They're telling me that if I press the bright red spot in a certain way, there's an explosion.
I can only do that voice like a few times a week now. It's like it takes a lot out of you. I'm like, God.
Which one do you smell at?
Where's the trigger?
Anyway, but we also have another one right here. This is kind of more in like the poster-esque kind of way, where it's like she's in front of that blue background. It looks more like photoshopped and done and not from the movie. So this looks really cool. I think, you know, Millie Alcock looking great. I mean, I still don't care for the lines and stuff like that on the suit, but I like how
it's
clean it
consistent, looks. You know,
I like, for some reason, I don't mind like the shoulder like cape thing here. It looks weird on the Superman suit, but I think it looks okay on the Supergirl suit. It looks better here. But I like the gold belt. I like I still like how overall like the suit, I like the brightness of the colors and all that. So I think I like it a little bit more than the Superman suit. I feel like it works for Supergirl more because it feels more Kryptonian, like, and I feel like that works for Supergirl's character more. While Superman, I feel like he should have like more of a homemade suit where it's like my mom made it for me. So that's like the vibe I want for that, where it's like kind of stitched together and that kind of thing.
I mean, it's also like it's consistent with what we see in Superman. By the way, that background is similar to the one where they showed like the motion posters initially, where she was listening to the Walkman. So it does seem like this is what it is. That could be a teleporting device in that other shot. I don't know if they're gonna go that direction, but I like it. It's a very colorful suit. It's very consistent with the design of the Superman suit. It's all consistent with the Kryptonian look. It's very. You know what I did notice though? Every time they show the Kryptonians, it's like very bland or like very like white neutral colors. It's very opposite of like the suits that they are wearing, like these Superman, Supergirl suits. So I'm like,
I think
there's
that's
a bit of a
point.
disconnect. I know that that's the point, but I'm like, there's a bit of a disconnect there, and I'm like, I want to see like how they explain that away, because their regalia that they wear on Krypton seems to be the complete opposite in terms of like the color, and even like design philosophy in many ways. It's like, because with Man of Steel, for example, they tried to root the suit's design very much in the Kryptonian mythology, and it was very consistent. Like it wasn't like they were wearing something on Earth specifically for Earth, where this feels like they made something that would stand out on Earth, which is very opposite of what they would wear on Krypton. But yeah, I mean, the suit is definitely better fitted. You could tell they made this suit for the movie specifically, and the money that went into that obviously is paid off, because you compared this suit to the one we got in Superman at the end, night and day. Like that suit definitely felt like they just put it together for like a quick appearance in a scene. This has got to hold up for an entire movie. So yeah, I mean it's got the same level of detail, and the bigger belt is much more impressive than what we got in the previous iteration with Mil Yacock. So I wonder if they're gonna retcon that scene. Probably not. It doesn't matter. I'm sure like the belt, like we can imagine like that's the same thing.
I mean, they did. I mean, that's what they did for Shazam too. It's like, oh no, we always had these kinds of suits, and then they showed a flashback, and it showed the suits from Fury of the Gods. It's like, oh, we always looked like this. So, and just don't like pay attention to it. I'm like, I kind of like that. Like,
I'm okay with that. Like don't
kind of like how they did the same thing for like, I mean, BVS, like the BVS Superman suit was definitely more colorful. It had more of that crimson and gold, and it was definitely it felt different. So I think just like don't mention it. It's like bigger budgets, bigger upgrades. Things are gonna be tweaked. Different costume designers, different people doing it, having a better vision, all that kind of stuff. So like, I think it's fine. But what I also liked was that somebody did these motion posters where it was, Supergirl and Superman like back to back, and this looks really awesome. I really like this, together at last kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, they could definitely tell like they're kind of doing puppet pin animation a little bit in After Effects with like some of the cloth animations. It's okay. It's a little too much motion for me for it to be. I mean, the Superman motion is a little more subtle than that for Supergirl, but yeah, it's still great. I mean, for fan art, this is great work. So I'd buy it. Not that it's on for sale. I'm just figuratively speaking, but yeah.
Next up, we have probably Quentin Tarantino's favorite look into Supergirl, because we have gotten Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow with an exclusive new cover by David Nakayama, but clearly Nakayama and Quentin Tarantino certainly have same ideals in regards to certain things. So yeah, very interesting, but very good poster. All that stuff. Very good.
I like the poster. It definitely catches your attention. It's very in your face. So yeah, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
So
I mean, come on, she's still got the boots on. Like, if it was Quentin Tarantino, it would be barefoot. So
all right, am I coming in okay? I kind of dropped off for a second. Am I?
You were a little choppy for a moment. You're back though. Now we can hear
Okay.
you now.
Yeah, I think hopefully my Wi-Fi doesn't go out. But but yeah. So yeah, looks pretty good. The proportions are a little bit weird. She has a little bit of a giraffe neck, but outside of that, it looks really good. So
cool.
Yeah,
I'm good with
and
that.
then last bit, another new look. This is from Entertainment Weekly instead of USA Today. But yeah, here the suit definitely doesn't look as fitting, but maybe that's kind of the point. But here, I think either she is hungover or drunk, and just kind of not feeling it, bruh.
I don't know. I like this. Is there a way for us to zoom into that? Because I'm like, I don't know how this image is like kind of weird, like how it's obviously Instagram. Yeah, I mean, she looks like she's had a rough night of it. I don't think it's any less fitting. It's just the way it kind of sits on her chest. That's all. Other than that, it's fine. It looks good. I like the colors, the way they're kind of like contrasting with the surroundings. Supergirl better have the plot of the Hangar. That would be wild if that is the case. I'm sure there'll be elements considering the character, the iteration of the characters.
I like how, I will say I'm still kind of iffy on the movie even as the days go by, but I think this is, we could be getting something pretty good. So
yeah. Well,
glad you like it, Angelica.
It's how many days is it now? It's like less than 2 months away, right?
Yeah, it's about a month and a half because it's the 26th, so about a month and 3 weeks ish, roughly, a little bit less than that. But yeah, very exciting. But now we have to get into one of our favorite segments of ring ding ding da ding ding da ding ding. What did Gunn say? And the first thing Gunn says is he asks a very important question. Why is Lex so happy here? Why is he so... Dan, why do you think he's so happy? Is it because he's with his boy Frank Grillo, aka Rick Flag Sr.? Is it because, he's just trying to make himself seem good in a not so good situation? Or is he going to be breaking out soon? Or is he going to have a plea deal soon where he gets to defeat Brainiac to save the world and then, get out of prison? So we'll see. But, why do you think Lex is so happy?
I think that's just Nicholas Hoult being himself.
You're just stick in the mud.
What? No, I think Lex is happy because he's got like a shit eater grin on his face because he just, I don't know, like it's Lex. Like what do you want me to say? It's like Lex is always.
I think he's happy because he might be getting out soon, so he could fight Brainiac and he can be the true Man of Tomorrow instead of Superman. So
that's probably also part of it. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I guess you could say Lex is feeling Mr. Handsome today. And he's with his dreamy lover, aka Rick Flag Sr. Full immunity. That is definitely a good way to smile. So, good reason to smile. Mm-hmm. But that's not the only thing Gunn said. But Bilquis Evely, who, famously did the Supergirl art for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but she did a movie art piece that her and Matt Lopez did for Supergirl. I know some of you have seen this in some cool places. And I mean, Gunn didn't say a lot. It was a simple emoji, but it was still enough and gave it a heart. So
I really love this artwork. I know. Can you click into that? Because it looks really cool. Like, again, just updating the look for what we get in the movie. Also the look of Crypto, obviously different from what we have traditionally seen in the books. Yeah. I like the look of Supergirl, especially like, again, continuing to support the comic book, not only the comic book writers, but also the artists. Because if the movie can have anywhere near as much color and, just the vibrancy of the artwork from the book, I would love to see that realized in the film this summer. So,
yeah.
But we got it here at the very
least. We got it here, and James Gunn reacted to it with a nice little heart.
Yeah.
But yeah, next up. So we did touch upon this about a week or so ago where he was talking about the canon in regards to the Suicide Squad and Blue Beetle, and because somebody asked him about it. And then what we didn't take away from this. Somebody else asked him, "Wait, so since you're not writing on season 2 of Creature Commandos, are you a producer or involved in the story process? Are you still in the writers' room?" Yeah, I'm involved like I am on all DC film shows and games, and I'm an EP like on the other show. So this is kind of reiterating what we kind of knew. Dean Lorey is pretty much taking all the reins for Creature Commandos, making it his own thing, while James Gunn is just going to remain a producer / executive producer on the project while he's off doing his own thing. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. So that's what he's doing. So yeah, kind of reiterating what we've known for a while, but just to clarify, yes, he's not coming back to write Creature Commandos or direct any episodes or anything like that. He's just doing his thing. So
yeah, which makes sense. It's kind of like the Kevin Feige thing, where like Kevin Feige is credited in all the Marvel projects, doesn't mean that he's like doing all the things. Like he might be more involved in some more so than others. So that's just the way it goes. Yeah. The EP being for executive producer, by the way, if you guys, I'm sure.
Yes, that's why I said producer / executive producer. But probably the most interesting thing he posted was yesterday. He's just, James Gunn just wanted to show off, just casually hanging out with his longtime friend Matt Lillard. As we all know, James Gunn wrote the 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies, and Matt Lillard was famously Shaggy in those movies.
Yes,
so, he just wanted to post a picture with a friend, because this can't mean anything more than,
for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just cuz, like
yeah,
just
cuz. Except, it wasn't, because guess what, guys? He's in Man of Tomorrow. Holy shit. Anyway. So, yes, Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow adds Matthew Lillard to the cast, which is absolutely lovely to see. We don't know his role, although there are some ideas and rumors that, way back, I don't know if this was like way back when, or like, I remember James Gunn tweeted this where he was like, oh yeah, way back when we were doing the Scooby-Doo movies, we're like, oh yeah, we'd love to see Matthew Lillard as Plastic Man. So now people are like, oh, James Gunn's finally making his dream come true. He's adding his friend. He's making him Plastic Man, and that's what's going to happen. Well, we don't know if that's the case, but if he is, I wouldn't mind it. I think he's a little bit too old now, but he could still do it. I think that would be cool, but I don't, yes, that is true. He always comes back. But
I mean, he was just in season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. He's all over superhero media these days. Matthew Lillard getting it from all sides.
But
that sounded different, better in my head.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
Like I said, as an actor, like you gotta get it where you can and when
he's a busy man. He was in Scream 7. He was in Cross. He was in, as you mentioned, Daredevil Born Again, although they accidentally capitalized the I in Disney. And he's going to be in the upcoming Carrie series from Mike Flanagan. So he is a working actor, and because he's awesome. So
yeah. Sorry, my cat's just like all over me, as you could probably tell. Like it's just, I'm having a hard time focusing on this pieces. But yeah, nice
little
Scoops.
graphic.
It's Superman. You know what's
Scoob?
Somebody, I think DC Film News put together a graphic with the current cast of Man of Tomorrow.
Yes, they did. So this was a nice little graphic.
I think, if you want to like just do a little audit of who's who. Do you want to walk us through? Because that's a pretty. I mean, it's a big cast. I'm not like, oh my god, there's too many characters in it, but it's certainly impressive. It feels like this is definitely like more than just a movie that features Superman. It's a much bigger film than that.
Yes, so we have a nice little picture here, but obviously David Corenswet fucking coming back. I would hope he's coming back. But then we have him as Superman. Lex Luthor's obviously coming back, and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and then as well as Isabella Merced, Eddie Gathegi, Nathan Fillion, Maria Gabriela De Faria, Skylar Gisondo. I don't know if it's been confirmed that Sarah Sampaio is coming back. It's just kind of assumed that she is, but Yeah,
I think
and
didn't
then
she like
Frank
post
Grillo.
about it? Maybe I don't know. I
Maybe.
might be misremembering
But Frank
that.
Grillo, he's obviously coming back because
Mhm.
we saw that from James Gunn himself.
He keeps
And then
posting stories about it, and then James Gunn has like been like reposting it. Like,
and
I
then
guess a couple.
you know, in terms of returning people that we haven't seen yet, is Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart. He is coming in as, you know, Green Lantern in this, in
Mhm.
addition to Guy Gardner after the events of Lanterns. Let's pray to God Hal Jordan doesn't die. But so we do have that. And then in terms of new people, we have Lars Eidinger as Brainiac, Audrey Arjona as Maxima, question mark. And then Andre
Still not
Royo
confirmed.
and Matthew Lillard are in undisclosed roles
Yeah.
that we have not gotten yet. So
I mean, between Matthew Lillard and like Brendan Fraser on a different level because he's won an Oscar, like having some great
both in
comebacks.
DC projects.
Yeah, started off there. Milton Fine, Emil Hamilton, John.
Well, I mean,
options for
Emil
Lillard?
Hamilton could be a good. He was the bald guy in Man of Steel. I don't know if anybody remembers that character, but
Mhm.
Milton Fine was, I think, the guy, if I remember correctly, he was associated with Brainiac. He was the guy who like found Brainiac, and then I think Brainiac possessed him and like became Milton Fine. So I don't think that's the case. It would be interesting if like however they decide to do Milton Fine, because Milton Fine's like kind of been a character that has, you know, changed a lot. But I think like
Mhm.
I think he was like a scientist or something that found him, or like something. I'm not really as familiar with like that side of the character. I'm more familiar with like the modern iterations of Brainiac, because Milton Fine is definitely from the Silver Age, which I could definitely see because James Gunn does love his Silver Age. So yeah, I could see that. I could see a whole bunch of, you know, aspects in regards to that.
Yeah, it would be interesting, but also it might just be like a small character. Like let's not. I just don't want us to like raise our hopes too high because he might be in a relatively small role that's not entirely significant for Matthew Lillard, or he could be in a significant role. It's just given how late in the game this all is. I mean, it might be that they signed the deal a long time ago and only now it's gone public, but I'm just gonna temper my expectations. Like for all we know, he's just got like a one-off role that's only in a couple of scenes, and that's about it. So it's more than a cameo, or maybe it is just a cameo. Like for example, what I'm thinking of, Bruce Campbell in Multiverse of Madness, right? Like it could be something like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's where we're going. I'm just saying it's just one of many options. So before we get to, I mean, maybe if you want to do that as a Fancast Friday option, I'm sure that'd be fun to try out. So. Oh hey, Fiona's in the chat. Hi Fiona. Did you take your drops? Sorry, I had to do this on a live stream. Just a reminder. Prescription medicine for those of you guys wondering. That's just a quick question for her. But Man of Tomorrow keeps adding to the cast. Yeah.
Very much so. But Dan, don't you want to talk about something even more goated that's going to come out within a month? Something that's going to be amazing and brilliant in every facet of the word, aka Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Because
I was gonna say, because this is that whole thing of oh Fiona, you're not paying attention. You gotta take. All right, okay. But talking about, sorry, go ahead. The trailer, The Dark Knight.
yes, we finally got the trailer, the launch trailer for Lego Batman. This is coming out after the specs were released, and everyone's been in a tizzy for a while because they're like, "Oh my god, my computer can't handle this," and people complaining about optimization, which is a fair thing to, you know, complain about because optimization is barely a thing anymore. But my computer can handle it, so that's all I care about. Get good, scrub. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, in this economy, you could barely afford to upgrade your PC, let alone, you know, probably play this game anyway. So I'm sorry for all the people that can't play this, but you know,
I like went looking for like external hard drives, and I'm like, everything costs like 3 times as much as what it did like a year ago. Like
yep.
It's just.
I mean, because like there's been CPU shortages. We're gonna have a massive like CPU shortage is gonna get fucking way worse, and it's gonna.
You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait for like when Nvidia's and all of these like stocks completely crash when the bubble bursts, and then like they'll be just giving those things away for free because there'll be so many that
so
that just are no longer.
We have that. So the CPU, like GPU, is bad. RAM, we're still in the middle of the RAM apocalypse. It's getting a little bit better, but not by much. So the best time is now because we don't know if the prices are going to go up or down. But it's if you need to build a PC right now, get your fucking parts now because the CPU shit is going to get way worse. GPU is probably going to get worse. RAM apocalypse. Last time I checked, the prices were going down a little bit. Because I think like a couple AI data centers got nuked. Not literally. I mean, I wish, but some of them got canceled. So that caused RAM to drop a little bit. So if you want to build a PC, build it now.
Because there's a lot of people are like, oh, we want to get into the real estate business with we have a warehouse we could turn into a data center. Turns out you need access to a shit ton of water and a few other things that not every warehouse in the middle of buckshit nowhere has access to. So
and it's just literally every possible thing that comes from anti-environmentally friendly shit is with a data center. There's noise pollution because apparently it gives off this noise that you can hear at a certain frequency that is it can make
crazy.
you crazy.
It drives you crazy. I've seen people in Georgia who all of a sudden they bought the house because they wanted to be away from the noise, and then randomly it's just they're the 6 months in, they see 100 yards from their used to be quiet neighborhood, they're building this new AI data center, and then there's all not only is there all the noise and the light that's all constantly on all at night, so light pollution,
and then the fact that AI data centers are pretty much using more electricity than the entire state has used for the past 20 years. So
the system's not built for that anyway,
because it's not built for that. We're not ready for that.
Sorry,
we're not.
But getting back to the game,
our grids are not ready anyway.
Yes,
that's not the point.
This is not a movie, by the way. To Fiona's question, it is the 6th Lego Batman game that the Watcher was saying. To answer your question,
6th? I only know 4. Well, 3. It was the original Lego Batman, Lego Batman 2, Lego Batman 3, and then the Lego Supervillains.
I think he's counting a few of maybe the not necessarily AAA.
But this is set in a different continuity. So, what essentially, if you guys didn't know, what essentially this is doing is essentially, I'm saying essentially way too much, but what this is doing is basically taking every movie and putting it in one timeline. It's Batman 89 to the Batman, it's all going to be one fluid timeline that they're going to adjust to make sure it works. But essentially it's Batman Begins, and then eventually then it's the Batman, and then to make it make sense with the continuity. So essentially that's what we're doing. We're getting this Lucius Fox, he sounds suspiciously more like Morgan Freeman. Why? Because that's the only Lucius Fox we've gotten on the big screen. And we obviously are getting Robin because usually these games are co-op. So, but yeah. So, just some geeky guy I also pre-ordered Legend of the Dark Knight a couple days ago, right before the specs came out. So I'm like, oh shit, did I fuck up? And then I looked at the specs. I'm like, oh, I can probably handle this. But yeah, this looks.
John,
awesome.
I was gonna say you broke your one rule of.
I did. I broke many rules. Because here's the thing. The rule of thumb when it comes to most things in regards to gaming, you never pre-order, you never get the deluxe edition, and you never get it day one. I'm doing all 3. So.
I mean, speaking of the Dark Knight, it's you want to know where Rachel is? You're gonna have to break your one rule, and it's John is okay, I'll break them all, because I'm gonna get this game on a pre-order.
I'm getting the deluxe edition. Did it. I'm getting the game.
It's all in one, and you got a day one.
But yeah, this looks great. I know a lot of people are complaining about the optimization issues, and that's again, joking aside, I get it because I know people are really upset about the optimization problems that gaming is facing right now, and especially with all the shortages and stuff. So, it's just, I'm just excited for this game. It's going to be fun. My computer can handle it. It's going to sound like a jet engine, but I think I can,
I know what that sounds like. Yeah, I've been there with that. I mean,
No,
even
it's
the
been
liquid
pretty
cooling
consistent.
systems,
Just the one time.
you know?
Just the one time. I don't plan to
Yeah.
ever do it again. I'm not doing it for 007. I'm gonna wait for a fucking Steam sale for that one, if it's any good, which I don't think it will be, because more shit that's coming out about that game, I'm like, this game is not gonna be good, is it? So,
I was gonna
but
say,
yeah.
is there another example? I feel like there's another example of like an anthology game that I've seen. Was one of the Spider-Man games kind of like that anthology game? Like, am I
I know
misremembering?
one of the James Bond games, like where it was. I remember they did it where it was like, where it was Daniel Craig only, but they like took missions from the older movies that Daniel Craig was not in and did that. I forget what
Okay.
the game was called, but it's like kind of like that a little bit, where it's like, oh, it's one gigantic timeline, but they modernized it and made it so like, oh, Daniel Craig is like all of them. Um,
Okay, I was just kind of, I was like,
What?
I feel like we have had an example of something like this before. Or you know what? Even the Lego Batman movie kind of hinted at all those other iterations of Batman in many ways, like, or like, you know, indirectly, like movie, not game, but you know, it had that. This is great. James Gunn shared this, obviously, you know, so that he's as good of a source as any to get this from. That it just confirms for all the fans that, you know, this shit is real. It's getting coming here soon. But John, there's a lot of references, as we've been talking about in the trailer itself, to the Dark Knight lore.
It was
On
007 Legends. It came out in 2012. That was like,
yeah.
it was like a big 50th anniversary thing, but it
Mhm.
was not very well received. So
I hope to time out a Superman Lego game to next year's Man of Tomorrow.
Mhm.
But John, there are a lot of references to the legacy of the Dark Knight on the big screen.
Yes, there
in this
is.
trailer. Let's go through those.
I mean, we have what seems like we have the suit, and it looks like Jack Napier as the, which I don't love, but like, you know, they're
The Jack
trying to
Nicholson
be,
version of Joker.
you know, trying to be concurrent with the, you know, canon, and it looks like, you know, Jack Napier being the killer parent, so that's very much Batman 89. Then we have, you know, him falling into the vat of acid and him becoming Joker. And then we have like, you know, like the whole party man scene of like him with the parade, very much, you know, Batman 89. And then of course Catwoman flipping, being like meow, and then it blows up behind her, very, you know, Batman Returns. And we get a little bit of Batman Forever, not the only Batman Forever essence, because we do get, as you can see, Kiss from a Rose throughout the entire trailer.
Hey, you got the
and,
Schumacher Batmobile. You got the. I was like,
God,
that's right there.
Fucking awesome.
And they did the
man.
Batman the animated series. So you're gonna have multiple Batmobiles in this game. That's
Yeah.
always the key. You know,
we're gonna have multiple Batman skins. I know they've released
and the Batman Batmobile. You know?
We're gonna get like an Arkham skin, and you can also get stuff in the deluxe edition if you got the money to do that. So, you know, that's fun. And then we have, you know, Batman and Robin, but like slightly tweaked, where we have, you know, Nightwing and, you know, Black Batgirl, much like how it was in the Lego Batman movie. And so it makes sense with the Jeffrey Wright Commissioner Gordon, which I think is what they're going with, as like that's like the version of Gordon that they're doing.
The de facto. Right.
So, which is pretty awesome. More Batman and Robin, which I'm sure you love, Dan. A lot of Batman and Robin. We have Poison Ivy's origin story.
Never leave the house without it, you know.
But then we get Nolan. Oh my God, try not to come, Dan. But we do.
Oh my God,
you know,
is the Joker blowing up Gotham Hospital or Gotham? Whatever.
So I don't know how they're gonna make the whole Joker thing work. It's like, how is okay? We'll see. But yeah, we do have like, and then him, and I love how when he enters, it still has that peak like Lego humor where it's like he enters the cave, it's all serious and then bats start shitting on him.
Yeah, it's great. That's the
so
Joseph
funny.
Gordon-Levitt Robin. Your middle name's Robin. It's a good middle name. Why don't you use it more?
Yeah. And you know, we got the Bat Pods, and then Rachel Gould and Lucius Fox.
That looks like Doctor Strange to me, but like that's not clearly not that.
And then we
you
have
get the Penguin. Is that no? Is that Commissioner Gordon? Oh,
Commissioner Gordon, and then Batman, and then him in the Bat car, because it's barely a Batmobile, it's just kind of a Bat car. No Batfleck? Well, we'll see. So, well, because Batfleck never really got a movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
What? Lillard be what is a Liddler?
I assume they mean Riddler, which
Riddler?
I don't
Okay.
think is going to be the case because he's going to be in a Superman movie and the Riddler is a Batman villain, so don't think that's the case. But a man can dream if you so wish, or a woman can dream. But anyway, that's what I want. I want a Pete Holmes Batman game. That's what I want. That would be even better than this. We got Morgan Freeman, Lucius.
Yes.
Hero being referenced in a Lego Batman game, 100%.
Does it come in black?
It's peak.
Yeah.
It's peak. Anyway,
it's great. It's great.
But,
you know what was peak was the Batman the Animated Series version of the trailer that they redid.
Yeah,
also
beautiful.
The Odyssey trailer dropped this week. I'm sorry, I just come on, Nolan. It's gonna be great. Evil Robert Pattinson.
I'm sorry, we already talked about it, but
I know we did. I just wanted to randomly
sorry.
drop my thing on that. It's okay. It's all good.
It's okay. We could talk about it at another date if you so wish. But, I mean, we're gonna have I'm sure there's gonna be another trailer. So but so exciting. But this is almost 3 hours, and we still have another show after this. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm so excited. So many things I'm excited. I'm excited for maybe the possibility of a Penguin Season 2, Batman Part 2, Man of Tomorrow, Legacy of the Dark Knight, kind of sort of Supergirl. But, all very exciting. Great to be a DC fan right now, although mainly it's Clayface and Legacy of the Dark Knight doing all the heavy lifting. But we'll see.
Well, but hey, the Batman Part 2 is in production, John. We got those stills. Batman in the Snow. Batman in the Snow sounds like
I was mainly talking about this year, but yes, that is
true. Like a haiku.
Yes.
Yeah. Batman in the Snow could be like a haiku, or like a little piece of poetry of some kind.
But remember, guys, Grace Rocky Save Stars.
Where the hell did you get that? You get it
Liz gave it to me. She got me a 3D printed Rocky. Her nephews made it, and then and then the little Xenonite.
Oh my god, because these are so the movie website has the things for these, the blueprints, and you can, if you have a 3D printer,
so if you guys want to make a 3D printed version of these, then you can. Yay.
Yes, you know what it is, John?
It is amazing.
There you go.
Gonna put him back up where he belongs. But I wanted to show those off. I forgot to show them off the other day. But yes, Grace Rocky Save Stars.
Grace Rocky Save Stars. Oh yes.
But anyway, thanks for watching. We still have tier list Thursday to
Meryl
do.
Streep films.
So yeah, we're gonna explain that soon. Don't worry if you didn't catch that community note the other day. So yeah,
you're like, gosh, did we vote for that? Like some of you did. But some of you voted for Mortal Kombat.
Hashtag blessed at the end, just like at the beginning, and wait until tier list Thursday for that bit of great. Although it's now tier list Friday.
John, where's the
it's
trigger?
Fine. It's fine.
Where is it?
Up my ass.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you wanna shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
And remember, fuck David Ellison, Tom King, and Jeff Snyder.